And welcome in everyone to our inaugural broadcast here on Rams TV. Aaron Turner, Mike McDowd, happy to be here this afternoon at George Rush Stadium on the campus of City College of San Francisco. It is a sunny but cool Saturday afternoon in the city by the bay, and the 1-0 City College Rams in their home opener are taking on the Sacramento City Panthers, who made the hour-and-a-half drive from our California capital city, and they're coming off a shutout defeat against the American River College in their season opener. Meanwhile, the Rams, after starting big last week, they were up 30-0 against Sierra College on the road in Rockland. Had to settle for just an 8-point victory, but more importantly, also saw their starting quarterback, Ethan Bullock, knocked out of the game, and they'll be starting with a backup. That's the storyline today. And as I bring in my co-broadcaster, Mike McDowd, this is kind of an interesting matchup, Mike, because we're talking about a Panthers team that's very young, very inexperienced, just one starter who is a sophomore on offense, and they certainly might have something to prove against obviously a very motivated.
You mentioned the hour-and-a-half drive. 1 hour and a half. Well, listen, this is what the Rams' game plan today is. It's this. They want to make that drive home back to the capital city about a 4-hour drive.
Right.
Because they want them to feel miserable. They want them to be in pain. And, you know, Sac City is a team that typically, they've been up and down through the years. They certainly come into this stadium today, the underdogs, for obvious reasons. But when you look at head coach Jimmy Collins and his Rams, you gotta look at a couple of things: experience, the fact that he always has talent. Maybe we'll pause for the national anthem here.
Sure. We'll step aside for one moment. So following the national anthem, teams getting ready for kickoff here at George Rush Stadium here at City College of San Francisco. And you were talking about wanting to make it a long drive back to Sacramento for the Panthers, but I was talking to the Panthers coaching staff, and really one of the things that they talked about was trying to just come out with more effort. And obviously when you're coming off of a shutout defeat, you certainly effort is a kind of a given that you need to have more effort, but they talked about not wanting to beat themselves and also establishing this run game. We're going to see a lot of freshmen on this roster for Sacramento City College, and that starts with their starting quarterback, Tyler Domino, the 6-foot, 180-pound freshman from Fair Oaks, California. He went to Del Campo High School in the Sacramento area, and they may also feature a backup quarterback. We may see Dane Kaiser, another freshman at 6'3", 215 pounds, certainly the bigger-bodied quarterback. So it seems like if you're Sacramento, maybe they're just still trying to figure out exactly what they have on their roster.
Yeah, because look, at game one, it was just last week,
yeah.
And this is a program that has struggled over the years. They have good talent in the Sacramento area, the Sacramento
Absolutely.
Valley. City College, you know, the city is this. Just win, baby. I mean,
yeah.
I know I'm borrowing that from the Raiders, but that's a fact.
Yeah.
Each and every year, win titles, championships. That's the end of the story as we get ready for kickoff.
Rams and their home Reds are set to receive, going right to left, or left to right rather, across your screen. That kick is taken in the end zone, and now it's going to be returned. And a decent return across the 20. Ball came out for a moment, and there's also a flag on the field. So already a little bit of sloppy play right off the bat. That was Fatui Vaive, the freshman from Citrus Heights, California, and he was the initial returner. He fumbled the ball. It was scooped up by a Rams teammate, but then there's a flag on the play, and we'll sort that out on the field.
Fatui Vaive. Thank God you handled that name because that's a tough one. As you know, we have so many Pacific Islanders on this City College program. And I love what he did. He hurled the defender.
Yeah.
And
you just got to hang on to the ball there.
Fortunately, you got to hang on to the ball. But nevertheless, City College, of course, Aaron, coming into this game averaging 37 points. That's how much they scored last time.
Yeah.
They gave up 233 yards against Sierra. And again, the one thing Jimmy Collins has got to really impress upon his team today, if we're going to come out strong, we got to compete for the entire 4 quarters.
And on offense right away, the Rams will be backed up following the penalty that was on City College. So they'll start at their own 5-yard line from the shotgun. And a gun run. Decent gain of 6 or so on the run. And that was Noah Mullen.
Yeah, and Brandon Wright in on the tackle, the kid out of Sutter Creek, California, a sophomore.
And I beg your pardon, that was not Mullen on the carry. That was Anthony Hurd. He's a freshman.
Sorry, that was on the tackle, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. And Mullen was, rather Wright was there in on the tackle, but Anthony Hurd, the freshman, starting at running back last week against Sierra College. We saw a lot of, and now I've been on the penalty on the, I wanted to stop because there's a hold on that first run. So 2 back-to-back penalties to start this game for City College.
Yeah, and mental mistakes early on in the season certainly can be a factor. Coach certainly doesn't want to see that, but certainly also let's not get too concerned about it at this point.
Yeah.
Game just started, so we got a lot of football.
So it was Jarmar Julian who got really the lion's share of carries last week for City College, but he was not in the formation on that first run. Now we have 3 receivers down low. Cruz from the shotgun. Another handoff to his running back, and a good gain that time. Rumbling all the way up towards the 18-yard line. Another nice run.
And then what he did is he saw that hole off the left side of the line, used it. The offensive line did a good job, but he just saw daylight, and he decided to really kind of bulldog his way up there.
That was Hurd, the local boy from Sacred Heart Cathedral Prep here in the city. Same formation as last time. Hurd still in the ball game to the left of Cruz. 3 receivers down low. Another gun run. And another nice gain by Hurd. He had a really nice big hole up front and nice blocking. It was Elias Mail in on the tackle. 1st and 10. So the Rams pick up their first down. No penalty that time.
You know what? I messed up. That's actually number 16, Kendry Bailey, because the player you just called Mail is the backup quarterback. I'm like,
I beg
is
your
he
pardon.
on defense too? No. So my bad, Aaron. But no, that was 16.
And now Jimmy Collins wants a timeout. So, first time out of the ballgame, that gives us a chance to kind of look at this roster more. So, we saw a lot of Jarmar Julian last week in the season opener against Sierra, but right now on the field we're seeing basically every snap so far of the 2. Knowing he has a backup quarterback in, maybe the less experienced player and passer, and why not try and wear this defense down early for Sacramento?
Well, historically City College is a program that likes to go to the air.
Yeah.
However, let's not kid ourselves. I would also somewhat identify this school as half passing and half tailback you.
Yeah,
Think
I
about
agree.
some of the incredible running backs that have come into this program, and including players who have played in the NFL. So I think that's a smart idea. You want to give your quarterback confidence, and allow the running game to kind of set the tone. Now, however, if I'll let you go to play here.
Well, we have 2 receivers up top, 1 down low. From the shotgun again is Cruz, and another stoppage of play. This could be another penalty.
So, Aaron, it's interesting that Jimmy Collins would call a timeout that soon in the game.
Yeah.
That tells me that he's concerned.
Yeah.
That tells me that he's also wants his team to settle down. He wanted to stop the tempo to regain a brand new tempo that's correct for him and his kids.
Yeah, and a 3rd penalty now on this drive. Moves the ball back to the 21-yard line. 2nd and 7 now.
Looks like trips left there.
And again, we see Cruz in the shotgun. Fakes the handoff, play action, wide open. And a nice gain on the play before he's brought down. Daniel Rawson on the tackle.
And there's a flag down, Aaron, which tells me that looks like could be against, well, it's funny. City College kind of moving back here.
Yeah, lots of flags here early. That was, by the way, Christian Willis, who is going to be one of 2 featured receivers in this offense. We're going to see a lot of Willis. We're going to see a lot of Kendon Robinson Jr. They're both sophomores.
Personal foul against the offense. Now,
that is not the start Collins is
That's not
right?
what I typically see. So,
yeah.
So far, I got to tell you, the City College team is a little rattled.
Yeah, and it could be just the fact that, you're coming in facing a team that was shut out last week. You are coming off of an emotional win of your own, and yeah, they could just be a little bit distracted right now in the field.
And I'll finish that thought when we get a second.
Well, first down following the penalty on the Rams. Cruz back in the shotgun, so the Rams have gone forward, and now they're back at the 16-yard line. Another gun run. This time, good stout defense up front by Sacramento. A whole gang tackle really that time, and good penetration that time again by the defensive line, led by Jaden Haywood, the freshman defensive lineman.
Out of Benicia.
Yeah, local boy.
One of the things that I was going to quickly mention is that I think that maybe City College is trying too hard right now because they're so concerned about that 30-point, deficit last week.
Sure.
I think they're just trying too hard.
And you also got to think with a backup quarterback in, City's going to want to try and control the possession and control the game clock as much as possible. So a lot of runs early on. Cruz has been in the shotgun all day. Now he passes from the shotgun. Caught. Nice catch by Christian Willis. Second straight reception by Willis. And the sophomore from Sandy Springs, Maryland, making the long trek across country to play for Jimmy Collins and the Rams. He's close to a first down, and I think they did move the chains that time.
Yeah, I remember from last year. He's got good hands. He's got speed. He knows how to get open, and he just proved it right there.
And he ran a really good route that time, which
it
was kind of what they like to call a corner route in the NFL.
Right,
he ran about 10 yards and just cut to the sideline.
Corner, yeah.
And now Cruz again from the shotgun, a handoff, and ball's on the ground. And this
Look
could
at
be
this.
a touchdown if it's not for a game-saving tackle. That would have been a touchdown.
Aaron, you know what I was just going to say? I didn't mention it the last snap. That's the second high snap.
Yeah.
They were both bad snaps. That one cost them, and as a result, Sacramento has great field position and a chance to put points on the board.
Well, Anthony Hurd really did not handle that snap or that handoff well, and he, fortunately for himself, made the game-saving tackle. I thought right off the bat that was for sure a touchdown for Sacramento.
Yeah, I did too. But, I think concern there, the center exchange between the quarterback is a big deal in college football or in football in general.
And especially when you're running, sorry to cut you off, especially when you're running the ball from the shotgun, it's even more important because there's going to be that delay. Well, this is the first chance for the Panthers on offense, and Tyler Domino from the pistol fakes the handoff. Now he keeps it, tries to get around the edge and goes nowhere. Timote Finao, the sophomore linebacker, and Tadarius Patterson also in on the tackle for the Rams. May have gained 1, did Domino. So we see right now Sacramento on the first play from scrimmage on offense going out of the pistol formation. And they'll go to the pistol again with one receiver down low. Domino, the 6-foot freshman.
You see that formation too.
Oh, nothing doing there. And
fumble.
A fumble on the ground following the tackle. Will it be City College ball? And City's gotten the ball back, and what a spectacular play by Justin Story. No, I beg your pardon.
And it was big number 98, Franklin Banks, in on the recovery there, and he was in a scrum, and that's how that all took place.
And it was Dino Kahakuhaleu.
Thank you.
From Cardinal Newman High School in Santa Rosa, the freshman D-line linebacker hybrid. Really had no one in front of him, and he just blew up that running play and caused that fumble. So 2 turnovers now, 2 fumbles, and the Rams right back on offense, and they're up at the 37 to start this drive. Cruz, the handoff from the gun. Nice run into open space, still on his feet, all the way across midfield, and that's big number 16, Jarmar Julian. We saw a whole lot of him last week. He led really the team in offense. He's a 5'11", 230-pound running back, a big load in the backfield, and he played his high school ball at McClymonds right across the bay.
McClymonds always a tough program.
Yeah, a lot of athletes.
They came across a couple weeks ago and played Marin Catholic, another powerhouse.
Yeah.
And McClymonds came up victorious. That's a good program over there.
And Julian, who is now in the game, he did not really touch the field that first possession. That ball incomplete. He was looking again for Christian Willis, was Cruz.
So one thing I've noticed the last two plays that the City College has been much more confident.
Yeah.
It sounds very elementary, but confidence in football is key.
Yeah.
You got to have it. And if you're playing sloppy, flag after flag, timeout, fumble, high snap, so this is good. This is good for the Rams.
Yeah, Rams just still trying to establish their rhythm on offense. Cruz, who's been in the shotgun all day, calls the audible at the line of scrimmage, trips left with Julian in the backfield. 2nd and 10. Julian hit immediately, but he still rumbles forward for about 5 yards there. He's just a big body. He really has in terms of size, he has a Division I kind of build, and he's really what you're looking for in terms of the next level, looking towards Division I. I mean, at 5'11", 230 pounds, he's built more like a inside linebacker than a running back.
No doubt about it. And we'll talk about Division I players because San Francisco, that's the name of the game here.
Oh, yeah.
So many players move on. I think they had 11 last year.
And 4 receivers in this formation, 2 down low, 2 up top. After a gain of 3 on the last play, Cruz back to pass. He's got time, got a clean pocket. Now he scrambles to his right, looking downfield, and it's intercepted. And that was just a very poor pass. Another turnover by City College, and Kendrick Bailey, the 6'1" freshman defensive back, and that was a player that was talked a lot about in pregame. He's a battle-tested DB, as his head coach called him, and right there, he just stepped right in front of the pass, but you got to have better eyes if you're Cruz.
Kid out of Jesuit High School in Sacramento.
Yeah.
It's a good football school. Big rivalry up there. He's used to playing big-time football up at Jesuit, and he just stepped in front of the defense, in front of the offensive player, got the ball, and did his job. It was that simple.
Yeah,
it wasn't a very well-thrown ball.
Well, 4 turnovers very early on in this, and that's certainly not the start that Jimmy Collins wants.
No.
Sacramento pinned back in their own zone from their own 30, their second possession of the game. That run goes for about 2 or 3. That was Noah Mullen, the 5'10" freshman. Again, only 1 sophomore starting on offense for Sacramento, so a very inexperienced team really so far. And right now they're just trying to establish some rhythm on offense and keep the ball out of City College's hands.
Aaron, no doubt about it, the Panthers are keeping the ball on the ground.
Domino, another pistol run. Going to the right this time. A flag on the field, though. This may be a hold, and it could be coming back after a short game.
But it's interesting what Sacramento wants to do. They're establishing the run game. We talked about it earlier, and they haven't thrown a ball yet, I don't think.
No, they have not. And that was Noah Mullen again for the second straight carry. Now he comes off the field. And I believe that penalty was on the defense, Mike. So I'm waiting for them to move the chains and actually assess the penalty. And yeah, and it will be against City College. It is not a first down, and it'll be 2nd and 2 following the 5-yard penalty.
Well, so far, this football game has been filled with penalties, and it's not been a pretty game so far.
Well, Robert Harrison is down low. 1 receiver up top. Mullen goes in motion. They fake the handoff, and an errant throw that time. That was Domino looking for his receiver, Gabe Nino.
Yeah.
The freshman slot receiver at 5'9", 160 pounds from Galt, California. And that makes it 3rd and 2 now.
Domino got to give him a little bit of break. It's his first pass, but it was not a good-looking pass whatsoever.
Yeah, well, and his receiver actually ran a pretty good route. Yeah, he was open.
All he had to do was place the ball in his hands, and they would have been, gain of maybe 5, 10, who knows?
Sure, yeah.
But he was open.
And Domino just overthrew him that last pass. So 3rd and 2, big third down here, the first third down of the game for Sacramento. And we saw some movement early. I can't tell who jumped first, whether it was a Panther or a Ram. We may have 2 penalties because I saw a hat fly off of a ref. So we'll see. And just a sloppy start to this game in this first quarter. And
certainly call this offsetting, perhaps.
Yeah, it could be offsetting penalties. No, it's false start.
Okay.
So after a penalty on the Rams, and a penalty marches the Panthers back, and we're back to the original line of scrimmage 2 plays ago.
Yeah. So
3rd and 7 again. ball all the way back to the 33-yard line. And yeah, not a lot of energy either. It seems like kind of both teams are, it's almost like you're waking up from a nap, kind of just trying to get yourself going, right?
Yeah, that's well said, actually.
3rd and 7, ball's at the 33-yard line. 2 receivers down low, 1 up top. Domino from the shotgun fakes the handoff. He's got pressure. He's scrambling to his right and just has to throw it away that time. He had 3 Rams just barreling in on him, including big number 6.
And one thing that I just noticed, and I didn't really pay attention, and I'm going to be humble and say this, but Sacramento is a team right now not playing well. They didn't score a point last game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, they've only, on offense, they only got about 231 yards. They passed for 127 and rushed for 104.
Yeah.
So this is a team that definitely is trying to establish its identity.
And meanwhile, last week against American River, they also allowed 364 yards of offense, did the Panthers. So they have actually, though, in terms of intensity, and a block punt, and this could be a touchdown for City, and it is! Touchdown Rams! Just like that, we have our first points of the ball game. A.J. Bolden, the sophomore receiver. And that woke this team up. That sideline just exploded following that. It was Bolden who came up with it, but I believe it was number 41. That is Floyd Gordon, the freshman, who got the initial block, and he gets mobbed by his teammates. 6-0 Rams, and that opens up the scoring here in this one.
And Bolden, the kid out of Jacksonville, Florida, which is a big football city, came in and picked up that ball. That's a big break for the Rams.
Yeah, and really it all started with Floyd Gordon just coming unblocked and getting his hands on that ball. It's almost like he just took the ball right off the punter's foot, and really nothing that
no
the
doubt
Panthers
about
could
it.
do.
No doubt about it. And, you know, for Jimmy Collins, that's a big relief. So we'll take a quick break, and then we'll
we'll step aside for a moment and then come back here. 7-0 Rams get the scoring going. You're watching exclusive coverage of City College of San Francisco football here on Rams TV. Back to the action here at George Rush Field. 7-0 following the punt block and recovery for a touchdown. Rams, who have yet to really establish a whole lot on offense, will get the ball back with a 7-point lead, or will give the ball back to the Panthers with a 7-point lead, rather. Rams defense, very good showing last possession. Panthers have yet to pick up a first down on offense. Short kickoff, taken at the 9-yard line, and then brought down at the 16. Good coverage again that time on special teams by the Rams. That was Corey Abrams who returned that one. And so Panthers will get the ball right back following the block punt for a touchdown, and they'll start at their own 16-yard line, or it looks like they're going to spot with forward progress at the 19-yard line.
Yeah, Kalumba had the tackle for the Rams, and you know, like I said, the defense is back on the field. Let's see what Big Red can do here.
Domino with 2 receivers down low, 1 up top. Run option to the left, flag on the play, and nothing doing anyway on that run. Again, Noah Mullen with another carry.
Boy, I saw movement on the left side of that line,
Yeah.
that defensive line for the Rams. So let's see but who knows? Let's see what they're going to call here. It is offsides.
Yeah, so that's just been the biggest knock so far on the Rams in this early on in this game has been the penalties.
Right. No doubt about it. No question about it.
So the Rams with a free gift to the Panthers. Ball's moved up to the 24-yard line. 1st and 5. Domino under center this time. And a little sweep play. Big gain that time. Down to the 40. goes Corey Abrams. You saw him last time. And now what they call a jet sweep in the NFL. He motioned from the right side and came right behind Domino on the snap. And that time we see really the first down in terms of offensive production from the Panthers. Ball up to the 39-yard line.
Yeah, it was a nice-looking run to the right side and just did his job. Saw some daylight, and this is one of the bigger plays for the Panther offense and a first down.
Domino with Mellon to his right. One receiver on either side of the formation. Drops back to pass from shotgun. He's got time. He's looking deep for his receiver. He's got him open, and it's just overthrown. Corey Abrams beat his man one-on-one to the outside.
Looks like that was Jordan Green, the intended receiver there, Aaron.
I beg your pardon, that was Jordan Green. That was number 27, not number 17. So Green, the 5'6" running back, that time just snuck out of the formation, and he was wide open. You want to probably label that a wheel route, because I believe he started in the backfield, but that time just a break for City College, because they did not defend well that time on that pass attempt. Domino will be back under center, 2 receivers down low, 1 tailback. They go to the tailback, and he's stuffed up just across the 40-yard line, maybe down to the 42-yard line. Jared Knippy, the other running back on this Panthers roster, sophomore and the lone starting sophomore on offense. He went to Bradshaw Christian High School in the Sacramento area.
And it looks like A.B. Burt's got the tackle on that play for the Rams. You know, one thing I could say about Domino is it was a bit of a surprise. He actually has a pretty strong arm. He threw that ball well.
Yeah,
I mean,
a little too strong.
It was a launch. It was a launch.
That last big pass attempt a little too far, and so you saw the Panthers just trying to catch the Rams napping. And now Sacramento will call a timeout. Their first time out of the first half here. They want to talk things over on offense and try and keep the ball out of the Rams' hands. So right now, if you're City College, you got to like what you see up front. They're getting good pressure. It's really just been the penalties that have cost them the most, and it hasn't cost them any points yet, but certainly you got to think going into the half, something that Jimmy Collins and his coaching staff will want to address in the locker room.
Yeah, you know, speaking of coaches, that defensive coordinator, Kevin Amile, really is he's out there talking to his troops right now.
Yeah.
But, you know, that defensive turnover they just got was a big play for the Rams because neither team offensively has been able to establish anything.
Yeah. And
something that, you know, the Rams just they've got to be very mindful. Again, I think there's a concern of the way they opened up against Sierra where they were up 30-0. And I think that sometimes that can get into the psyche of a team.
Yeah,
but, you know, hey, that's game 1, move forward, and here they are against Sacramento.
3rd and 7 from the 42-yard line following the timeout. Domino from the pistol drops back to pass. He's got pressure, and he's brought down. He was trying to find his open man, but it was too little too late. That's Mark Simon. Mark Simon the second, the freshman from Houston, Texas, who got in there on the pass rush, and that'll force a Panthers punt. So good pass rush we've seen so far from the Rams to start this one. Very good defensive line play. Alex Weir, the punter. Oh, almost another block that time. Good punt, though.
Beautiful punt.
Fair caught at the 20-yard line. And that was Trenton Holloway, the returner, who signaled for the fair catch. And the Rams will get the ball back, and they'll resume their offensive play at the 21-yard line.
They're going to mark that at the 21. So, you know, that's where the Rams will take over. And really, yes, the defense scored a point, but let's see what this offense can do. And let's see what, the situation is for the young quarterback who's taking over today.
Cruz,
of course.
Who had to come in last week following the injury to the starter, Ethan Bullock. Bullock had a very good game in that win against Sierra before injuring his hand and having to come out. He is unavailable this week. So Cruz is the starter, and he will play the entire game barring an injury of his own. A short run there on first down, and he may have just gotten back to the line of scrimmage to the running back.
Yeah, Hurd. He was tackled by number 44. That's Angel Novi. out of Grant High School or Brooks, actually, out of Sheldon High School in Sacramento.
And they're going to say Hurd gained 3 yards that time. So 2nd and 7 from the 24. Cruz back in the shotgun with Hurd to his right. 3 receivers down low, 1 up top. And now a little wheel route to Hurd. He got across the 30, maybe to the 33-yard line. That'll move the chains.
Yeah, I see that Carmen Davis, his helmet came off, which he'll have to come out for a play now.
Yeah.
So that's the defender for Sacramento. He's actually a defensive back, so he comes out.
Well, that moved the chains after that run from Hurd. Very nice run. And the ball will be spotted at the 34-yard line. 1st and 10 Rams. Starting to pick things up on offense is City College, wearing their home reds, classic red uniforms. Sun starting to peek out from behind the clouds. Cruz back to pass from shotgun. He's under pressure. And now Hurd, who slipped out of the backfield, runs over his defender near midfield. He'll be brought down to the 49 or the 50-yard line. Nice play that time. 16-yard gain on the catch and run from Hurd.
Yeah, Hurd did a nice job. He got up in the open field, saw room, and then it was hit pretty hard by Brandon Sedano, the kid out of Mountain View. But that's a nice move and a first down for the Rams.
And nice in terms of just getting Cruz comfortable passing.
Yes.
Nice, manageable short passes. Nothing too explosive right off the bat. Just trying to get some consistency with him and his receivers. Hurd stays in the game, so we've seen a lot of Hurd this game. 3 receivers up top. Cruz. The handoff to Hurd from the gun. Nothing going that time. Good stop and good pressure up front that time. That was Jet Green.
Yeah, Jet Green, the linebacker.
That's a good football name.
Yeah, it is for sure. Jet Green, you got to love that.
6 foot, 220-pound freshman from Pleasant Grove, California, or Pleasant Grove High School in Elk Grove, California. I beg your pardon.
You know, one thing I got to give Sacramento a little kudos to is the fact that you go up against a powerhouse like City College. You know, sometimes strange things can happen. They're playing so far, even though it's only the first quarter of football. They're playing physical football. They're not giving up, and they're not giving up big yardage plays as
not
of
at
yet.
all. Yeah, and you got to like what you see, honestly, from Sacramento. You're right in this game with about 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. Cruz looking to pass. He's got a receiver wide open, and it could not get any easier than that. Touchdown, Rams, Tyrese Johnson. From Mission High School here in San Francisco, the sophomore just beat his man one-on-one, and there was not a defender within 10 yards.
50 yards.
And wow, what a breakdown on defense from the Panthers, just as we were talking about.
I mean,
good defensive play, they break down.
He could have ordered a pizza, maybe some Chinese and some Italian, all in that same pass.
It almost looked like Johnson was a little surprised at how open he was. You saw him look over his shoulder, and then he just walked into the end zone.
It was like, hey, I'm at Disneyland. Let's have a good time here. I'm open.
And just like that, following the made extra point, it's 14-0 Rams, and they just had their first big play on offense. So Cruz, who
Dominic Seuss with the PAT, by the way.
Oh, thank you. So Cruz, who last week in that win against Sierra in the backup role coming in, he did throw 1 touchdown pass last week, so a second touchdown in the season. He was 8 of 14, so a 57% completion rate, and he threw for 117 yards. Averaged about 8 yards an attempt, if you want to get real technical. So really the first big pass play from Cruz, and it was a big one. 14-0 now. Rams lead. 3:52 to go in this first quarter. Still plenty of time to go in the first half. And that is not what you want to see if you're Sacramento trying to come on the road and get a big upset.
Yeah, well, that's Cruz's second touchdown pass of the year. And that's something that he really needed as far as confidence.
Yeah, I agree.
And he looked good. I mean, listen, that was a 50-yard pass. That was a bomb. That was I haven't seen a play like that in a lot. It was like a broken play. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Because that receiver was so open. Making fun of it, but it was ridiculous. I mean, and if you're the defensive coordinator for Sacramento, you are not happy the way your secondary broke down and just gave it up.
Well, and Tyrese Johnson, by the way, did not have a catch last week against Sierra.
Ah.
So that's got to be even more frustrating, considering you probably game plan for the bigger name receivers on this roster like Kendon Robinson and Christian Willis, and it's the third or fourth string receiver who comes in with a big strike. So 14-0, Rams will kick things off. Booming kickoff here. And,
oh, my.
And now it was a dropped ball, and going backwards was the kick returner.
And in on the tackle was Lonnie Jordan, the defensive back out of Maryland Heights, Missouri. And I'll tell you what, that is awful field position on the 33-yard line for the Panthers.
And that's Corey Abrams, the receiver, who had a hard time handling that kickoff. And we'll see where they officially spotted. I think the refs are still trying to figure out exactly where that's going. But not where you want to start offensively if you're the Panthers.
And Domino, on the other side offensively last week, 127 yards. He was 14 of 31 attempts with a 45.2% completion percentage. So, again, he has yet to throw a touchdown in his season.
Yeah.
So from the 3-yard line, they got some work to do, 97 yards here.
Domino sends Abrams in motion to the top of the formation. And Domino is going to keep the ball, and he almost gets brought down for a safety, and it is a safety. So Domino, really, who probably should have just thrown the ball away immediately, tried to make something happen. He's brought down in the end zone. 2 points for the Rams. They'll get the ball back now up 16-0, and that's to Darius Patterson.
Patterson was so adept. He saw that, and you know what? They capitalized on that play, and they were in deep trouble back there at the 3-yard line. It was almost like it looked like he was going to pass from the end zone, almost like a play action.
Yeah.
He hesitated. He really should have handed the ball off or kept the ball himself. And so that slight hesitation resulted in that safety, and now we're at 16-0.
And I was very, very surprised they did not just run it on first down from their own 3.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
You're putting your quarterback at such a risk, forcing him to try and pass the ball, knowing how effective this pass rush has been for City College early on, and that resulted in a safety. So the Rams will get the ball back, up 16-0 now, so really a chance to try and blow things wide open if they can score another here with still 3:40 to go in the first quarter.
And Aaron, one thing is, astutely obvious. When you come into George Rush Stadium here at City College, you cannot make mistakes.
Absolutely
not.
The
Rams have so much talent, so much depth, and history to this program. You just can't. Sacramento cannot make a mistake.
And Sacramento talked about not wanting to beat themselves in pregame, and they have done a little bit of that. Nice return there on the kickoff. Rams will have very good field position to start this next drive.
0-0 for the Rams, and I don't.
That's actually Fatui Vaive. That was number 80.
Oh.
The freshman from Citrus Heights, California, down in Southern California, went to San Juan High School.
Well, Citrus Heights also is in the Sacramento area.
Oh, I beg your pardon. Yeah, that is in Sacramento.
So
I was thinking of Citrus Grove in the Orange County area.
Yes. What about it?
No gain on the 1st and 10 rush from Anthony Hurd. We've seen a lot of Hurd, not a whole lot of Jarmar Julian, who had a huge first game, and maybe with playing the weaker Sacramento team, figuring they'd try and split up their running back duties. Hurd stays in the game. 2nd and 10 from the 49-yard line of the Rams. Cruz. Back to pass and a flag. So that'll stop things. False start.
Yeah, it's got to be false start. I noticed Willis went in motion to the far left. And, again, you're up 16-0, but Jimmy Collins' team certainly has made some mistakes early on here. But they're up 16-0, and I'll tell you what, I think they're starting to find a little rhythm in their offense and their defense. And it could be a long day for the Panthers, to be honest with you.
The Rams have committed 2 turnovers. They have thrown an interception, and they've committed a fumble, yet they're up 16-0, 2nd and 15 following the false start. Cruz back to pass again. He's got time, and he just underthrew Anthony Hurd. That pass too low. Again, trying to find Hurd, just kind of slipping out of the backfield. We've seen a lot of Hurd doing that, kind of slipping into what they call no man's land, little 5 yards out from the line of scrimmage. And it'll be 3rd and 15 now. Ball at the 44-yard line. Hurd checks out. And
so fair enough to play. Go ahead, Aaron. I'm sorry.
I was just saying that it looks like we're going to have 5 receivers on the field for this third down play. No running back.
Yeah, I was just saying, do we have ourselves a passing situation or what?
And Cruz now from the shotgun faces a big 3rd and 15. And another penalty. Could be false start again.
Now, if it is false start, that'll make it 3rd and 20.
Yep, and it is false start. So that's been the biggest problem so far for the Rams, has just been the penalties.
Well, I mean, listen, 1 offensive score and 2 defensive, really. So
yeah,
they're establishing themselves still. They have not found that perfect rhythm whatsoever.
Yeah, and just the really one big passing play for the touchdown last possession was the really lone big play. Cruz with time. He's looking deep for his receiver, throwing into double coverage. And Christian Willis was the intended receiver that time. He was blanketed nicely by 2 DBs, Cameron Davis in there on the coverage from McClatchy High School in Sacramento. And that brings up 4th and 20. Rams will now punt for the first time this afternoon. And we get to see the first.
Yeah, Kendrick Bailey also the coverage. That was a good defensive stance by Sacramento, and they can go away feeling pretty good.
Travis Benham, the punter from right across the street at Archbishop Reardon High School. Trevor Marshall back to receive for the Panthers. Little rugby style running punt. Panthers will let it go, and Rams will down it after it takes a sideways bounce at the 26-yard line, 24-yard line, I beg your pardon.
Aaron, one thing about the rugby style kick is this. There is a pause, there's a delay, and if the defense has any pursuit up front, man, that thing's going to get blocked.
Yeah.
I get it. It's kind of a new technique, and obviously the rugby style has come on. It's kind of the hip new thing.
Sure.
But there is a little bit of apprehension to that particular style.
I agree. And the one, obviously, advantage it gives to the team that's punting is it gives your coverage guys a chance to get down the field.
Exactly.
That's the advantage, but you're right. It opens yourself up to just making a whole litany of mistakes if you're not careful. Oh, nothing doing that time. That was Tyler Domino. Little run option play. He kept it himself. So right now Domino has just had a nightmare up front trying to stave off that defensive line. Great pass rush so far for this game. That's really been the standout performance so far.
Yeah, and Zetterberg, the kid out of Sweden, made that tackle. And I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce his high school. If you can't go for it. Come on.
No. I'll
Where's our media relations staff? We need some help here, man.
So the international player getting involved on the tackle. Rams do such a good job recruiting, not just nationally, but really overseas as well. 2nd and 13 after a loss of 3, and he will be credited with a sack, will Zetterberg. Decent second down run that time as we get under a minute to go in the first quarter. That was Jared Kanippy, his second rush of the game.
You talk about I'm going to call it the Swedish connection, because for whatever reason, City College has had many players, I don't know, it's just several, but quite a few players from Sweden. And you look at the roster and you're like, Sweden?
Yeah.
It's astonishing.
Football is actually fairly big in Sweden. It's interesting.
I guess so.
In Eastern Europe in general, there's a lot of American football being played in Germany, of course. We've seen the German NFL Europe leagues following a false start, by the way, on the field, which stops the play for a moment. So Panthers will march backwards 5 yards. It'll be 3rd and 9 now, so certainly not what you want to see. After a 3rd and 4, now it makes it 3rd and long.
Yeah, and a quarter winding up here, but they present themselves in an obvious passing situation. Looks like they're going to let the clock wind down.
Yeah, there's about maybe a 2.5 second differential between game clock and play clock.
Oh, they do have to get the play off, don't they?
Yeah. So 3rd and 9. Back to pass Domino. Under pressure. Little
screen.
Bubble screen trying to find his running back, and he'll be near a first down.
I think he got it.
He may have just gotten it. That was a nice play that time.
That's a little bubble screen there. Worked precisely as the quarter number 1 ends, Aaron. So wow, it's been how do you describe the first quarter? It's been interesting. Let's put it that way.
It has been interesting, and it was a bit of a sloppy start for both teams in that first quarter. You saw the Rams, they fumbled a ball. They got the first fumble recovered. They committed a second fumble, turned the ball over. And Sacramento was not able to capitalize. Then you saw Cruz with his first real mistake of the game, throwing an interception on just a poor-looking pass, trying to find his receiver. But then you saw the Rams come up with a blocked punt for a touchdown. They were able to hit a big passing play on a broken-down defensive play from Sacramento, and then they got a safety. So it's 16-0.
And it was a 50-yard bomb from Cruz that set up that touchdown, his second of the year. And you look at the way these teams are playing each other. I think Sacramento City feels like, okay, we're down 16-0.
Yeah, it could be even worse.
It
really
could be worse. I think they are playing a little.
That last bubble screen was Jared Knippy.
It looked like he got it.
Yeah, it looks like they may have spotted him short, and it's sometimes hard to see from up
Okay.
here. So yeah, 4th and 2, and we saw the blocked punt earlier. Rams do not bring the pressure this time. Decent punt that time. Fielded at the 35. Running backwards is Trenton Holloway, and Holloway is chased down by a gang of Panthers. So like you said, Mike, it's 16-0, but you got to think if you can keep this a 2-score game going to the half, that's got to be a victory for these Panthers. Despite the fact they have yet to score their first points of the season, they're actually still hanging in there.
Well, I mean, quick evaluation in one quarter. Obviously, their defense looks like tends to be their strength of their team. Let's see what of course, I just said that. Yeah. Let's see what they can do against this Ram offense.
And really, they've given up the one big pass play, but that's been about it so far. Cruz from the pistol has nowhere to go that time. Nice play that time, and I thought the ball came out. It did not. But that was Jacob Williams.
Yeah, brought down by
beg your pardon.
Number 44, Sam Brooks, a linebacker.
Yeah, and he's a star player for this Panthers. He's really the leader on that on that defense for the Panthers. He was talked very highly by this coaching staff in pregame meetings, and he gets his first tackle of the game. I think they're going to credit him with a sack. So first sack for the Panthers, and a 7-yard loss on that play. 2nd and 17 from the 23.
Well, I just said it. Their defense being the key to this game, and that proves my at least my brief analogy.
And Cruz just kind of threw it at the feet of his lineman. That could have been intentional grounding if he's not careful. He was in the pocket.
That was one of the strangest plays I've seen. He just threw it right in the middle of the line area.
Yeah, he threw it at the feet of his lineman. Really, that was the closest Ram to that ball.
That intentional grounding?
Yeah, and there may have been a receiver in the area. That may have been the ruling. But Lucas Lavin, the offensive lineman from Sweden, another Swedish player, he was the closest guy to that. So 3rd and long now.
The Rams showing trips left.
5 receivers total for the Rams. 3 down low, 2 up top. Empty backfield. Cruz with time. Almost intercepted and then caught. And all the way down to the 49-yard line. What a stroke of luck. That's Trayvon Drummer, the tall 6'3" freshman from Foothill High School in Sacramento. So certainly playing against some of his Sacramento colleagues in this game.
Another sack kid. You know what? That was a tip drill.
Yeah, and I can't tell who tipped that initially. It was a Panther player that tipped that ball in the air, and just bad luck for Sacramento that time.
One of the linebackers got the ball and tipped it in the air, and 84 came down with it, and they got the first down, the ball on the 49 now.
So a stroke of luck, and Drummer was just in the right place at the right time. Cruz now trying to hurry things up on offense. He's got 3 receivers to his right. He hands the ball off. Hurd. No, I beg your pardon. That is not Hurd. That's the 3rd-string running back with a nice carry on first down. That's DeMonte Alim from San Ramon, California. Played his high school at Dougherty Valley High.
Yeah, Dougherty Valley. It's
a
school over there in the San Ramon area. And, they've got some good football players in the East Bay, San Ramon Valley High.
Yeah, absolutely.
A little school called De La Salle plays a little football, I'm told. You've heard of them, right?
I think so.
Yeah, all right.
Maybe 1 or 2 NFL players in that school. 9-yard run. So it's 2nd and 1, and they'll keep the ball on the ground while the Rams. Alim again spins off a defender. He's got the first down. He's still on his feet. It takes about 3 Panthers to bring him down. That got his sideline fired up. So we've seen Hurd. We've seen Alim. That was Andrew Rocha in on the tackle for the Panthers. We've seen actually the least of the guy who got the bulk of the carries last week, Jarmar Julian Jr. He's barely touched the field so far. So the Rams just trying to spread things around on offense. 1st and 10, that moves the chains, and ball now down all the way to the 36-yard line.
Aaron, right now it looks like that offensive line is really kind of establishing itself, starting to pick up momentum.
They're starting to get more pushes up front, certainly, is that line. Play action, Cruz. Wide open and just out of reach for Christian Willis. He was wide open. He beat his man one-on-one. He was covered by Kendrick Bailey, the freshman from Jesuit High School in Carmichael, and just about maybe 3 or 4 feet in front of him. So a bad break that time, but another wide open receiver.
Well, I mean, all Cruz had to do was lay the ball in his hands. It was 6. So, you know. But, hey.
It would have been a 36-yard touchdown pass, Mike.
It's a break for Sacramento, okay?
Big break that time. So we've seen 2 breakdowns on defense and 2 slot receivers getting wide open from the Rams. So good offensive scheming early on from the Rams offense. Rams will send Tyrese Johnson in motion to the near side. From the pistol, Cruz. Handoff.
Oh.
Bouncing off defender is Aleem. He stiff arms the defender, still on his feet. Aleem all the way down to the 20-yard line. And his sideline loved that. He just buried his potential would-be tackler. It looked like
Tyron Roper pushed him out of bounds, but, you know, he broke off several tackles. And the crowd here at the George Rush Stadium, you can finally feel a little energy here.
Yeah.
It's about time. And it's a good-sized crowd here at the stadium today.
Aleem, another big back. He's listed at 5'11", 205 pounds. And so certainly a lot of physical running backs in this Rams roster. And why not? Aleem checks out, and right back in the game is Anthony Hurd. He's behind Cruz from the pistol with 2 receivers up top. They fake the handoff. Cruz rolls right. Chased by a defender. And, nothing going there. Flags on the field, a very late flag. I'm not sure what happened there. It may be a hold.
Perhaps.
Or it may be illegal contact. We'll wait for the call. But at that time, Cruz just kind of threw it into no man's land and was a little bit out of sync with his receiver on that play.
Yeah, you know, it was almost like a play-action rollout, and it was going to be holding, looks like.
I believe so, yeah.
So, you know, he had to make something happen in that play, and it just nothing was there. So that's going to hurt the Rams just a little bit. And the ball's going to remain on the 25-yard line.
Yeah, so I think it'll be 1st and 15 following the holding penalty. Rams up 2 scores, up 16-0, trying to extend that lead with 11:42 to go before the half. Cruz from the shotgun. Hurd's back in the ballgame. 3 receivers up top. Fake the handoff. Cruz looking to pass. And caught in the middle of the field. Spun down at the 11-yard line is Christian Willis. Adam Meyer in on the tackle from McClatchy High School in Sacramento. And that's very close to a first down. It's not quite a first down. It'll be 3rd and, I want to call it 1 yard or so, maybe 2. Yeah, 3rd and 2. 2nd and 2, I beg your pardon, because it was a first down on that last play following the penalty. So from the 12-yard line, Rams nearing the red zone.
Pick up a 13, not bad at all.
Hurd in the backfield next to Cruz. 3 receivers up top once again. Hurd takes the handoff, rumbles down to the 4-yard line, and a flag comes in very late. So this may be coming back again. Max Green in on the tackle, the freshman linebacker. And the way the Rams are looking, it looks like this may be another hold. So, again, that's got to be something that you want to clean up at the half.
Well,
it's just stop shooting yourself in the foot.
You were 1st and 15 or what it was, and you get 13 yards.
Yeah.
And now you shoot yourself in the foot again.
Yeah.
Look what happens. You go all the way back.
And it's almost like nothing happened.
Right.
So I think they spot the ball at the 19-yard line, do the officials. And they're going to replay 2nd down. So 2nd and 12.
Well,
Rams.
You know, a score could be pretty tough for the Panthers to deal with. So right now they are in Rams in Panther territory.
5 receivers now. Christian Willis down low. Cruz back to pass from the gun. Under pressure. Rolls right. He's going to take off and keep it. And he's near a first down. Push out of bounds at about the 13-yard line. He may be a yard or 2 short. That should bring up 3rd and short now. So Cruz saw no one open, and he just took off and tried to pick up as many yards as he could.
Yeah, he rolls out to his right, saw daylight, picked up about 10 yards. And, let's see. Actually, 3rd and 4 now.
Okay.
So about 8 yards, and he's still, they find themselves in an interesting situation right now. Do you run a little screen, a little bubble, or do you just hand it off and expect your tailback to do his thing?
Max Pierce, the blocking tight end, checks in for the Rams. Rams have 3 receivers, I beg your pardon, with Hurd in the backfield. Christian Willis comes in motion to the near side to the slot. Cruz looking left. He has Willis, and it's a touchdown. Nice play call that time. Christian Willis started in the slot. He faked as though he was going to run back and block, and then Cruz, who faked to his right then rolled left, just had a wide open Christian Willis. So they make it look easy that time.
Yeah, 14-yard touchdown pass, and Willis did his job, caught the ball, beat a defender, and pretty much walked into the end zone. It was pretty easy.
So we're seeing what happens with good scheming, and it's really allowing these receivers to get wide open for the most part. And just like that, it's 23-0 Rams.
Well, Jimmy Collins and his team have got something going on here. And to be honest with you, Aaron, I have seen so many games here at this stadium where things get pretty ugly.
Yeah.
It gets ugly here. And that's because the Rams are just a great football program.
And certainly facing a team that has yet to score points this season is coming off a shutout loss. And the Rams, meanwhile, coming off a win that was on its way to being a blowout before starting quarterback, first-string quarterback to start the season, Ethan Bullock, gets knocked out of the game with a hand injury. Cruz has to come in. They ended up kind of surviving a potential comeback and end up with just an 8-point victory last week, up 23-0 now.
Looks like Nino and Mullen will be deep for the Panthers to receive.
So the Panthers still have time to put some points on the board before the half if they're able to. 9:54 to go in the second quarter.
Yeah, I think you just said it right there, and points on the board.
And you really just want to get some offensive success here and sustain a drive if you're the Panthers. Mullen across the 15 before he's hit hard at the 14-yard line. That's where the Panthers will take over here on offense.
Tofi? Yeah,
Tofi.
He was in on the tackle along with some other Rams. But it's been special teams have been very well. Coverage kickoff, very good. Now, if you're the Sacramento, you've got to somehow say, listen, we got to get some confidence going in.
Yeah.
Domino really has got to get something rolling here, especially after that safety and that debacle. So,
and there was a hold, by the way, on that return on Sacramento, so that backs things up all the way to the 8-yard line. So Domino again with a long field in front of him from the pistol. Handoff, and that's Tyrone Roper, his first action. He's from Baltimore, Maryland, is Roper. 5'10", 210-pound sophomore. And he gained about 8 yards on that run.
One of the things you'll see about junior college football, and I'll finish my thought in a second, but so many kids from around the country, because football is so good in the state of California, they flock to this state to play ball.
Absolutely. 2nd and 1 following a 9-yard gain. Roper bounces off a defender. How about his quarterback getting out there and blocking? Nice block by Domino, and that is enough for a first down.
It was almost like there was a hesitation in that exchange. Roper got the ball. He made the most of his situation. He saw a little bit of a hole on the right side, but that was almost a debacle in the backfield.
Yeah, and it looks like he may have kind of ran the wrong direction. That may have been what happened, but he was able to make up for it and pick up a first down from the 23 now. And taken right out of his hands is the football and another turnover.
I think it was Timote.
No, that was Tadarius Patterson, Mike.
Patterson?
Yeah, he took the ball right out of Roper's hands. He kind of bobbled. It was a high handoff, and Roper was trying to control the thing and literally ran right into Patterson, who took the ball right out of his hands. Wow. Second turnover now, which goes the Rams' way, and now they have a chance to add on to that lead. They're starting at their own 23-yard or at the 23-yard line of the Panthers.
And similar situation, the Rams have a chance to get 30. They were up 30 against Sarah last week. Now, if you're Sacramento, you're the coaching staff, especially on the defense side of the ball and the offense side of the ball, you're sitting there and you're just scratching your head. You're like, come on, man. We cannot do this against City College of San Francisco. It's just a fact. You just can't do it. You're going to get wiped out.
Yeah, and more mistakes from Sacramento. They talked about not wanting to beat themselves, but that's starting to unfortunately happen for the Panthers. Cruz is back to pass, and he's going to be brought down. That's the first sack, and that was the star linebacker for the Panthers, Sam Brooks.
Yeah, Brooks.
Second sack of the game.
Brooks got pursuit.
Yeah.
Saw the quarterback, Cruz, and he just brought him down. And, really, he's been the bright spot on that defensive side of the ball for Sac.
He's a big guy. He's 6'1", 233 pounds.
Yeah, I think, he's going to make some noise. Somebody's going to pick him up.
Absolutely, and a loss of 3 or 4 on that, so it'll be second and, let's say, 13. Rams from the shotgun. Cruz looking left and just overthrows Christian Willis.
Yeah, he was looking for Willis on the far left side, and just kind of it was kind of an underthrown ball below him, and he couldn't get to it. But to be honest with you, it's one thing I've noticed is when you talk about Cruz, he's playing with a little bit more confidence. He's throwing the ball a lot more.
Yeah.
And that's something he needs to do, especially when you're not the starting quarterback and you're coming in. He is now.
And he got his play call from Jimmy Collins, who is the former quarterback coach on this team, now the head coach. That pass is complete. Kendon Robinson stays on his feet, and then the play is blown dead. Nice catch and run from Robinson that time. The sophomore from Alameda, California.
You talk about quarterback, Jimmy Collins being a quarterback coach, but you also got to remember and really look at the great Dan Hayes, who's
absolutely.
He's just been such a stalwart, mainstay here at City College. Great football coach, great human being, and always very kind to me every time I talk to him. So a shout out to Coach Hayes.
And Dan Hayes, of course, the longtime offensive coordinator here, formerly for the legendary George Rush. Meanwhile, that kick is up, and it is good from Dominic Seuss. The Stockton, California product adds 3 more points. It's 26-0 now. Rams starting to run away with things here with still 7 minutes to go, 7:25 exactly left in the second quarter.
That was about a 27-yard field goal, so, not bad at all. So 26-0. Again, if you're Rams, you're whether you get a field goal, whether you get a safety, it's all about points. They got to feel pretty good about the way they played here in the first half. We got 7:25 left. Of course, early on, mistake football.
Yeah.
That's changing, and you can see a little bit of tempo happening with more than a little bit of tempo, but the tempo is happening with that offense. So
and really the Rams started to build that momentum, I think, following that blocked punt. I think that really woke them up, and that made it a 2-score game at the time. Then they got a safety after that. Of course, they have also a couple very good passing plays. Meanwhile, Noah Mullen back to receive along with Gabe Nino for the Panthers. They'll be receiving this kickoff. 26-0. City College on top. And the ball blows off the tee. It's a bit of a breezy day here in San Francisco. We had a heat wave the past couple days. Things cooling down today, but it was actually legitimately hot for Bay Area standards.
And, man, driving across the Golden Gate Bridge, the natural air conditioners coming in, the fog's cooling off the city. And then, of course, out here, little different situation here.
Yeah, the Ingleside district in which City College resides can get a little bit cool. A booming kickoff that time. It goes to the back of the end zone, and that'll be a touchback, so the Panthers will get back to work on offense and, again, just trying to get their first points of the season before we head to the locker rooms for half. But the Rams are really starting to command things on both sides of the ball.
Aaron, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention it, but you just nailed it. It's 72 degrees, sunny conditions here, and this is the official forecast. So we got winds, a slight breeze, 15 miles per hour. And you know what? I just got back from the south. I was in Jacksonville, Florida, where it's like 99% humidity, and it feels like about 115.
Right.
This is football weather, man.
Oh, yeah. This is about as good as it gets. Not too hot.
We went to the Florida-Miami game. I got to tell you what a thrill that was.
And
big-time football.
And that's real football weather down there. I mean, that's about, losing 20 pounds of water weight after the end of a game. This is nothing as a another sack from the Rams, and that time it was Tyler Domino just swallowed up. Elias Rentisi in there on the tackle. And Rentisi, who is a 6'3" freshman from Rancho Cotati High School in Runner Park, California, up the road from here.
Sonoma County. Some good football up there. Carl Newman's another
absolutely.
powerhouse. Rancho Cotati is really, the public school that really is the powerhouse up there. But, some good football, some big boys up there. A lot of kids live on the farm.
Yeah, that's the real Northern California. And that was an 11-yard loss. 2nd and 21. Domino under pressure again. Screen pass to his receiver underneath, trying to go across the field, and nothing doing that time. That was his running back or receiver, Isaiah Mays. Or no, I beg your pardon. That was
Roper.
Tyrone Roper again. So Roper, he may have
a chance for a broken play didn't happen. Now it's 3rd and 21. You know what that stand? 3rd and 21 is Big T. You know what Big T stands for? Trouble.
Yeah, and it's 3rd and now 27. They say, because they're going to say that Roper lost about 6 yards that time. So 3rd and a mile from the 8-yard line. We'll see if Panthers even try to attempt to pass here, or if they just run it. They do with Roper, and he gains maybe a yard or two, and we'll have another punt coming up.
Bunch of Rams got him in on the tackle for City was big number 56, Kalaleo, another looks like Hawaiian name there, Kaha Kualihu.
You got it.
Okay. Well,
what I've learned with Polynesian names is you pronounce every consonant.
Okay, well, that's why I'm with you, Aaron.
Kahakualio.
It's my days in Hawaii,
And one of several Polynesian players on this Rams roster. They do really a good job recruiting from all over.
Yeah, Pacific Islanders. I mean, it's just so it's an international roster.
Absolutely. Oh, good pressure that time. They just do get the punt off to the Panthers. It will take a Rams bounce at the 35 and be downed out of bounds at about the 32-yard line of the Panthers. So another good starting.
About a 32-yard punt there because he was in the end zone. So, listen, I don't know. I haven't been a football coach, but somehow, some way, you've got to instill confidence in your kids because the Rams are on a roll. They got a chance to, get 30 points. 31 points, 32 points before the halftime's end. The way they're playing right now, this is a team that is saying, listen, we're not going to take we remember Sierra College. We're not going to take that for granted.
No, and again, they were up 30-0 in that game and ended up winning by just 8. They did put up 470 yards of total offense to the Rams last week. And we'll check the stats at the half to see what they have in this first half, but it'll certainly be quite a bit so far. Cruz rolling right. Nice run that time by Cruz. He had nowhere to pass, and instead he picks up about 9 yards with his feet, and more importantly, avoids the contact.
Yeah, and he was being chased by number 23 for Sacramento. It's Brandon Wright, the 5'9" defensive back out of Sutter Creek. But I'll tell you what, regardless, he was looking for a pass, but he made something with his feet. And, each play that he establishes like that, he gets more and more confidence, better and better.
Yeah, and showing off his wheels a little bit. He's quicker than he may seem, is Cruz. That was Aleem. Another run, short gain, brought down by Jet Green on the tackle.
And Green did a nice job pursuing that offensive line, got in there, put his arms around that runner, and brought him down.
Aleem will check out. Anthony Hurd checks back in for the Rams. They'll have 3 receivers down low, and now it was Hurd checking out. I beg your pardon. So 5 receivers on the field right now for the Rams. 3rd and 3 from the 25-yard line. Empty backfield. Cruz gets the play call, calls the audible at the line. He's from the gun. Looking to the end zone. He's got a receiver open, and just like that, that was too easy.
Just like that, it's Willis. And a 25-yard touchdown pass. And again, you got to credit these receivers. They're getting past that secondary, and they're making hey, throw it to me.
Christian Willis
it's that easy.
was one-on-one, Mike, and he has now his 2nd straight touchdown reception on as many catches and he just beat his man one-on-one on the outside. And that's just poor defending from the Panthers secondary once again. And it's 32-0 following the extra point. 33-0 following the extra point. 3:48 still left before we head to the half.
Well, I'm trying to come up with some adjectives here to describe this first half for Sacramento. It's quite frankly, it's just all right. I'm gonna be a little tough on the kids. It's a little ugly. Yeah,
and certainly.
But there's a whole half of football left. You play for pride. You come in here, you do your best, and you just keep battling.
Certainly inexperience has got to be a factor here. We talked about how they only have one sophomore starting on offense, are the Panthers. So a lot of true freshmen, a lot of players who played last year at the high school level trying to compete against one of the premier JUCO programs in the country.
Well, the other thing you got to mention is this is a club, Sacramento, that, and I've said it, and I'm probably going to say it the entire game, they have not scored a point yet, and it's showing.
Yeah.
And you know what? First of all, you got to be able to score. You cannot make mistakes against a talented program like CCSF, and those mistakes are starting to really pile up and hurt them.
Last week in that shutout loss, Sacramento allowed 192 yards on the ground. Decent return here, and then a big hit on the kickoff coverage. That was Gabe Nino who got lit up. After a 20-yard return.
Big number 84. He's not big, but he's Drummer, the kid out of Sacramento. And he's playing with a little press. Like, I'm going to get these boys.
Yeah.
I'm a local boy.
Yeah.
Who knows what the situation is. I'm sure he wanted to come to City.
Sure.
But, he takes pride playing against his hometown, and he put a lick on that ball carrier for sure.
So, from the 23-yard line, Panthers resume their offensive play calling. 2 receivers up top, 2 down low. From the shotgun, and that's the backup quarterback. He was mentioned in pregame meetings, but that's Dane Kaiser, the 6'3" freshman from Pleasant Grove High School in Elk Grove, California.
Yes.
3-yard gain on the keeper. And will Kaiser stay in the game? It looks like he will. So, for the moment, Tyler Domino is on the bench. Kaiser in at quarterback. Can it be to his right? He takes the handoff. Or no, that's Major Nickum. He's the other running back on this roster from Yuba City, California. Went to Yuba City High.
Definitely with this new quarterback, definitely a different body type.
Yeah, he's a little bigger.
A little thicker.
3-yard gain, by the way, Mike, on that last run. So that makes it 3rd and 4 from the 30-yard line. Kaiser from the shotgun, back to pass. Looking left, it's caught. And that should be a first down.
Yeah, it is caught.
That was the tight end, Zach Marsh-Wojin.
87 out of Vacaville. And that was not a bad-looking ball.
Yeah.
And if you're the Sacramento coaching staff, you bring in Kaiser because, let's face it, man, that offense has just been struggling. They want to score something.
Yeah.
Even 3 points would be somewhat of an accomplishment for this team. But they'd love to get a 6 on the board.
Yeah, clearly Sacramento just looking to change things up and get some fresh legs out there. 3 receivers on the field for the Panthers. Kaiser from the pistol keeps it and runs over his defender that time. Nice run by Kaiser.
Man, you got to give this kid some credit.
Yeah,
he came in there, rolled to his left, and he was like a fullback, just ran over the defender. It was pretty impressive.
And that was a big body he ran over, by the way. That was to Darius Patterson, who had the fumble recovery.
And the point is, Aaron, you don't see quarterbacks do that.
Not at all.
He ran like a fullback.
Yeah, he did. And he's built like a tight end. He's 6'3". He's over 200 pounds, and he took on the 6'2", 245 Patterson and really won that matchup. 2nd and 3 following the 7-yard gain. The Panthers sideline kind of came to life on that run. Kaiser, the handoff from the gun. Nothing doing that time. Really nowhere to run for Ed Singleton.
Yeah.
No, beg your pardon. That was Major Nickum.
He's brought down by Kakahilu. How do we say it? Number 56 for the Rams. There we go.
Kaha Kuhuleo.
Kaha Kuhuleo, yes. I'm gonna get these names right.
Lots of syllables in that one.
And it was interesting because Kaiser is just. He's kind of, hey, listen, I'm going to play my game, and I think that's what he's doing right now.
Under a minute to go before the half. Kaiser looking to pass to his left. It's caught, and staying in bounds as his receiver. It was a very short gain. We'll even
threw it on the left flat, tried to make something happen.
Yeah, not much of a gain there that time.
Yeah, no, nothing. So, listen, man, 3rd and 3. Looks like they're going to be in a punting situation.
Well, San Francisco calls a timeout knowing they're going to get this ball back. And that'll bring up 4th and 3. It will be a punting situation, so City actually has a chance to even add points if they so choose.
Let me ask you a crazy question.
Sure.
You're going to say, nah, you wouldn't do it. Oh, it's 4th and 5. If it's 4th and 3 at this point with 45 seconds,
yeah,
would you take a gamble and just say, we need
I would
points?
not, just because we're seeing how that secondary has been burnt a few times.
Yeah,
you got to think if you don't convert here and you give the ball back to the Rams in your own field, I mean, that's just a chance to give up another touchdown. At the very least, you force them to go longer field if you punt away here, and at least you keep the Rams off the board further. It's already up 32,
and I know
nothing.
You're being way too logical and too smart.
Yeah,
but
if it was 4th and 1, I might go for it.
I'm just thinking if you're, boy, you can say what you want to say about early mistakes and maybe some missed snaps here and there, but San Francisco has really come on, and they're establishing why they can be a dominant program. They feel good about this season. One thing that we know, they lost their bowl game last year to Modesto, and one thing that's not tolerated at City College, it's a unique program because unlike other schools, the hallmark is this. We expect to win. No, we don't just expect to win titles. We expect to win championships, state championships, national titles. Yeah. And one thing I want to mention, the league is so tough. Laney comes into the league. They win the state last year.
Yeah.
Laney College, okay? This is a formidable opponent, and they are in the same league as San Francisco City College. So
and they will be playing each other later this year.
Yeah, and San Mateo, so it's a very tough league.
And Laney, by the way, will be featured as that ball is tipped up in the air and falls incomplete. They'll be featured on Last Chance U, Laney. So they'll be getting some national coverage this year, or next year when the television show airs. But that'll be interesting to see City College, which is, by the way, a school that Netflix did reach out to and declined to be profiled on Last Chance U. So
that's fascinating.
Yeah. So the JUCO docu-series that has really gotten a lot of attention is coming to the Bay Area.
Yeah, no,
Laney College will be featured, and City College will be playing a night game there in October.
Yeah, that's something we can talk about. I think it kind of shows the humility of City College.
Yeah.
Meaning that they've had so much success. They don't want to just that's a very interesting. I don't think head coach George Rush would go for that either. Because this is a humble program. They are champions for a reason. They play with humility, but they play like champs.
By the way, the Panthers did go for it on 4th down, and that was unsuccessful, so the Rams take over in the Panthers' territory, and right there, you saw, that's not what you want to see, Cruz getting up slowly. He looks a little gimpy, does the quarterback for the Rams, Jacob Cruz. David Rodas is originally the 3rd-string quarterback, now the backup from Mission High School. So if Cruz is unable to go, then we would see Rodas in this game to start the 3rd quarter. But he took a big hit to Cruz. That's not what you want to see for Jimmy Collins. That's the last thing you want.
Yeah, and you know what? Not with 27 seconds left either.
Yeah, exactly.
Take a knee, go to the locker room, realize what you did. You played well. You played you played excellent for the most part, except for the early on. But now there's a reason. There's a reason the Rams are establishing dominance in this game. They have better players. They're more talented. They have more depth, and they just have great skill players. And you got to give credit to Jacob Cruz. This backup has come in and played an excellent game as a starter. He's had a couple big touchdown passes, and of course, there's been some lapses in the secondary for Sacramento. But Cruz is gaining confidence, and that's really the whole key to a season.
Cruz appears to be okay. He's going to look to pass. And that ball was intended for Kendon Robinson. It was off his hands, fell incomplete. Clock was running for a second, then it stops. So right now the Rams still with the ball with over 19 seconds to go, 18.9. They may adjust the play clock. Well, the referees will see. It looked like it ran for about a second or two after the play concluded. Yeah, that's what I thought. So they will reset the clock to 24 seconds. That brings up 3rd down and 10 now from the 41-yard line of the Panthers. And now the question is, do the Panthers call a timeout and try to get the ball back should the Rams fail to convert here on 3rd down? 3rd and 10. 3 receivers down low, 2 up top. Empty backfield for Cruz, who drops back to pass. He's got time. Has a receiver open. That's going to be a 1st down. And getting out of bounds is Tyrese Johnson.
And there must be a late hit on that play. That could be a personal foul.
Did a flag come in at the end?
2 of them.
Wow. So, yeah, that could be even better for the Rams. And now they're getting towards field goal territory. So even if they don't get in the end zone, they could add 3 more points.
No, you know, something that I didn't pay attention to. You probably hit already, Aaron, but Jacob Cruz, where's he from? Capital Christian. Where's that? Where was that school? Sacramento. Another Sacramento. Sons of Sacramento starting to hurt, you know, their hometown JC.
And I'm looking, through this roster, there's a handful of players from either Sacramento or the kind of Sacramento area.
The Valley, yeah.
Yeah. As you mentioned early in the broadcast, lots of athletes from that area. So that penalty, by the way, Mike, moves the ball down to the 14-yard line.
Yeah, so that's trouble. I mean, what do? You know, if you're Jimmy Collins, you go for the end zone.
I'd say, maybe run 1 or 2 pass plays, and then if not, you at least want to get 3 points.
Right. Well, I think the 3 points going to be a done deal. But, you know, Cruz has played with confidence. He's got receivers out to the left, 3 of them.
Yeah, he's got 1 receiver up top, 4 receivers total. Cruz again from shotgun. Looking right, got a receiver open and just fell down. And unable to corral that was Christian Willis. He was looking for his 3rd touchdown reception of the first half.
Yeah, Willis had it. He kind of turned his body. Not quite there, but he made it. He tried to make that grab.
It was a beautiful back shoulder throw from Cruz that time. And that was actually, was that Willis? That was actually Kendon Robinson Jr., I beg your pardon. No, that was Willis.
That was Willis.
It's hard to see with the Rams numbering whether that was a 1 or a 2.
It is, and so, you don't have numbers on the sides of the jersey, so sometimes it is challenging, folks.
Willis is up top though, with 3 receivers down low. 13.4 left before the half. 2nd down. Christian rolls to his right, and then throws it away.
Throws it out of bounds.
That stops the clock at 8.5 seconds, Mike.
Looks like Willis, again, the intended receiver. So, you know, it's 2nd and 10. You go for 1 more shot of the end zone, then you kick the field goal.
Then is it it's 3rd down now. I beg your pardon.
So
I was calling it 2nd.
Second, or is it 3rd?
It's 3rd down, and the ball's still at the 14-yard line. So should the Rams not convert here, you got to think they're kicking a field goal.
Right. But the Rams have, no more timeouts.
And now Sacramento calls a timeout.
They've got 1 left.
And they just want to make sure, I think, they don't give up any touchdown here.
I think what you obviously have to do is 2 things. You got to go for the end zone because you have no timeouts left.
Right.
Or you got to go for a quick pass out to the sidelines and step out of bounds. And, you know, you set up the field goal situation.
Yeah, so the Rams, who had a slow start to this game, a couple of mistakes. They had a turnover. They had an interception, as well as a fumble lost. And then it was that second quarter and the start of this quarter that you really saw them explode. They had the block punt. They had the 2 big touchdown strikes through the air. And all of that contributed to a 33-0 lead that we see right now. Rams up big, 8.5 seconds left before the half. And threatening to add more points if they're able to score here.
In the second half, because we don't have a lot of time here, let's talk about the former Ram quarterback, Jack Newman. Jack Newman is now a Golden Bear over at Cal, the kid from Andley High School. And I saw him last year as a freshman. I got to tell you, he was so impressive. His footwork was phenomenal. You knew he was going to play Division I. Now he's a Golden Bear.
Well, congratulations to Jack. He gets to stay here in the Bay Area and play for a very historic football franchise. Looking to the end zone and caught. What a beautiful catch. Touchdown Rams. That was number 84, Trayvon Drummer. The Sacramento product hurt Sacramento City. And the Rams now have a chance to make it a 40-0 lead. What a beautiful catch. It was one-on-one with his defender, and Cruz just put it up in the air and said, go and get it. And he used every inch of his 6'3" frame to pull that one down.
Drummer turned around the front of the end zone in the left corner, used his body to perfection, and snagged the ball.
40-0.
Friends, we got ourselves a bit of a quinky dink here.
Yeah, and this is quickly turning into a blowout. And with 4.5 seconds left, the Rams look like they'll be heading into the locker room with a very comfortable lead.
You know what this reminds me of? A couple years ago, the Bear Cubs of Santa Rosa JC came into this stadium, and I got to tell you, it was one of the most painful games I've ever seen. The final score, well, if you're a Bear Cub, the final score was City College of San Francisco. What do you think it was?
I mean, I've seen them win by 60 or more in the stadium.
Get ready for this. 70-0. 70-0.
It happens. It happens at every level of
quite
college football.
Quite frankly, they're on pace to score at least 40 more in the second half.
Yeah, and
they could score 80.
The question is, when do you start seeing the second and third string players come in for the Rams to avoid injuries?
Pretty soon.
Yeah,
I would say.
And on both sides of the ball, really, both defense and offense.
Although let's make no mistake, they're still concerned about that 30-point halftime lead last time, so they're going to still put more gas on the fire.
Oh, I'm sure. We'll see if the Panthers try to return this. They do not, so they may just take a knee to end things here. They'll get one shot and one snap basically before the teams head to the locker room.
You know, when you're down 40-0 in the first half, it's going to take a little Houdini for the coaches to keep these kids up. It's going to take some magic because you're down 40-0. You become demoralized. There's no way we can come back. And especially when you play a team as good as City College with so much talent. And, you know, City College gets in the heads of opposing teams.
Yes, and we saw the change at quarterback. Dane Kaiser coming in. The last couple snaps of that last possession here in the second quarter, and it's Kaiser again on the field. So as of right now, no more Tyler Domino. He started at quarterback. Kaiser came in to replace him, number 15, and he's on the field right now. And we'll see, of course, when we come back, whether he starts the third quarter or not. So the Rams with a 40-point lead. Kaiser just hands it off to his running back, and that should do it. After a short gain, the buzzer sounds, and that wraps up the first 2 quarters of play here at George Rush Stadium. Well, it was a sloppy start for
credit to the Rams offense. They've absolutely exposed the secondary for Sacramento. They've had some really horrible lapses.
Yeah.
They take advantage of long balls, miss assignments. And, you got to give credit to Cruz. He's done a nice job finding his receivers, a couple of shots in the end zone, played to perfection, and as a result, 40-0 our score.
Yeah, it wasn't a perfect performance by Cruz, but he really, after that interception especially, I think really pulled things together mentally. So we will step aside. We'll go over some first half stats and then come back and get you ready for the start of the third quarter. Don't forget you are watching exclusive coverage of City College football, streaming live on Rams TV. And welcome back to Rams football here, streaming live on Rams TV. George Rush Stadium here at the campus of City College of San Francisco. I'm Aaron Turner, Mike McDowd here. We are your Rams broadcasters as we get ready for the start of the second half. And it was a sloppy start, Mike, by both teams, but it was really a second quarter to forget for Sacramento as the Rams offense started to take control, but it was sparked by special teams play. and most notably that blocked punt that got the real scoring started for the Rams, who had a bit of a sloppy start themselves, and then it was really the connection between Christian Willis and quarterback Christian Cruz that got things going on offense. So Rams up 40-0, and here to call the third quarter is Mike McDowd.
Thank you very much there, Aaron. Dominic Suze kicks a deep one, fielded to the second 2-yard line. Nice move across the middle of the 30, 35, 40, and out of bounds. It was Corey Abrams, the 5'10 freshman out of Vanden High School in Fairfield. And I'll tell you what, I'm laughing, Aaron, because that might have been the biggest offensive play of the day for Sacramento.
Took the words right out of my mouth. That's exactly what I was going to say. It actually looked like Abrams had a chance to break one there, but good job by the kickoff guy. That's number 37. That is Dominic Seuss. He forced him to the sideline. Otherwise, Abrams might have been gone. That would have been the first points of the season for Sacramento.
So let's see if Dane is going to stay in there. That's going to be Dane Kaiser, the quarterback out of Pleasant Grove High School, Elk Grove. He will be in the shotgun formation. One lone back now goes to his right. Two receivers to the right. Handoff. Oh, man, look at that. Yeah. Already City College in the second half says, nope, you are not going to do anything in our house. And quickly the front gets across. That's Tofi. And, I'm not even going to pronounce his first name. But nevertheless, that brings up 2nd and 14 on the 45-yard line.
I believe that's Falasa Aitu, who played his high school football, by the way, Mike, right across the street at Archbishop Reardon.
Keeper on for Dane.
Well, we saw Kaiser in that first half. He's really not afraid to run it. He ran over a couple defenders, and he's a big guy, is Dane Kaiser.
Along with Aaron Turner, I'm Mike McDowd, welcoming everybody to beautiful George Rush Stadium on a spectacular San Francisco September Saturday afternoon for college football. Kaiser in the shotgun, back to pass, looks right, has his tight end, big number 87, who caught the pass. That is Zach Marsh Wojan, the kid out of Vacaville. He gets a couple. But I'll tell you what, that brings up yet another punting situation, and the Panthers do nothing in the first to start off things. Meanwhile, it'll be Oliver Saunders who will be deep for City College. And, Aaron, that is not the way you want to come out in the second half for Sac, is it?
No, it's not. And Rams' defensive line, once again, I really think they've been the most dominant unit of any unit on the field today, and they're just really not allowing anyone to get time to get open. They're just forcing the quarterback.
Saunders across the 25, 30, 35, almost near the 40-yard line. A nice return there in City College with good field position. And, one thing we talked about, Aaron, is the fact that I think City College got it in their mind. They were so kind of, well, I don't want to say frightened, but they were more than upset that they had 30 points and let that down. I think they're going to continue to put that gas on.
Well, and if nothing else, I mean, City College, of course, we alluded to it before, playing in a very competitive division and conference. You want to put up points in these early season games. You want to improve your ranking as much as possible, knowing that they're going to have tougher opponents later in the year.
Jacob Cruz, handoff straight up the middle to number 16. That, of course, is Jamar Julian Jr., and he gets a little bit of a gain there for maybe about 3 yards. Actually make that 5. So 2nd and 5 on the 39-yard line. That's where they have it marked. No, excuse me, that cannot be right. That'll be on the 45-yard line.
Yeah. And Julian, by the way, had 18 rushes last week for 120 yards. That's only like his second or third rush this game, so they've used him very sparingly after a big game last week.
Again, Cruz in the shotgun. Barks out a signal. Handoff again, straight up the middle this time. Only a gain of a yard or two. Brought down by a host of Panthers.
I mean, if you're the Panthers, it's like pick your poison with these running backs. You have Jamar Julian Jr., 5'11", 230 pounds. We saw a lot of Anthony Hurd. He's a little guy at 5'9", 185. And we saw DeMonte Aleem get a lot of touches in that second quarter. He's 5'11", 205. Good luck.
Yeah, Jaden Haywood, the defensive lineman on the tackle. And I think that's one thing you and I, Aaron, can agree upon is the fact that, listen, man, you can keep it on the ground.
Yeah.
You don't really have to throw much. They will.
Yeah.
Because they want to give Cruz more, opportunities to throw.
Yeah.
They have two wide receivers left and two to the right. Back to pass. Cruz goes deep, way overthrown. The intended receiver was number 2. That is Trenton Holloway. Excuse me. That was actually Christian Willis.
Yeah. He just stopped running. I don't know, maybe some confusion. Willis had a big first half. He had the 2 touchdown receptions and almost had a third to end the second quarter. And that time he just stopped running. So obviously some confusion offensively, and that'll bring up another punt for the Rams.
Yeah, and that's not a good way to start off things for the Rams. But Trevin Marshall will be deep at about the 11-yard line for Sacramento.
Penalty now.
So false start against City College. That'll bring it back even more. So it'll be 4th and 7. And they'll punt from with the ball being placed on the 42-yard line. The punter will be back at about the 28. We mentioned Trevor Marshall deep for Sacramento. Nice high punt. Fair catch being called in the 10.
Beautiful punt.
So, listen, I mean, I think we're going to be kind of repeat. We apologize, but you try to come up with something fresh, something new, and it's kind of the same old story for Sacramento. Heck, they haven't. We've mentioned it prior, but this is a team that has got to build. Listen, they're not going to beat the Rams.
No, and really, I think for Sacramento, it's more about finding, the smaller victories, getting some confidence offensively, trying to protect your quarterback. You saw them switch out to Dane Kaiser in that second quarter, getting away from the starter, Tyler Domino. So right now you just want to see any kind of positives and try and build off that, even if you don't win the game ultimately.
Yeah, Kaiser in the back at quarterback still. Noah Mullen. Mullen gets a carry off the left side, gets maybe 1.5, maybe 2, but brought down by a bunch of City College Rams. In on the tackle, big number 44, and that appears to be Rantissi.
Yeah.
And go ahead, Aaron.
Well, I was just going to say we saw a lot of Rantissi in that first half, and like I keep saying, it's the defensive line that's done a really good job, and the linebackers who have blitzed and really preventing any kind of chunk plays offensively from Sacramento.
This time a quick throw out to the right side and nothing there. It was Daniel Brown, the intended receiver, and it was a bad pass.
Yeah. And really, the thing is with Sacramento offensively, they're not getting enough time for any receivers to really get open down the field, so they're just running these little short plays because of how effective that pass rush has been from City College. 3rd
and 11 on the 9, so another throwing situation for the Panthers. Dane Kaiser is coming to this ball game. The 6'3", 250-pound freshman out of Elk Grove. He's trying to see if he can get something going. He's got back to pass, quick drop, has his receiver over to the 25-30, and it is Jacob Williams, 6'3", 195-pound freshman out of Laguna Creek High.
Yeah.
And that's a first down for the Panthers. And right now, the offensive bright spot of this half, at least, besides the opening kickoff.
Yeah. Well, and that time you actually saw a clean pocket for Kaiser, which we haven't seen a lot of this game.
Mullen in the backfield. Handout. Nope. Keeper. Kaiser rolls out right. Tries to go off the right side, and he's hit. And that's dangerous because...
Yeah. He's a big guy, though, but you don't want to see your quarterback taking big hits. That was Folasi Aitu Tufi.
Tufi is in on the tackle.
Yeah, and we did see in that second quarter Kaiser run over a defender, and he's a big guy. He's 6'3", he's over 200 pounds, but when you're the second-string quarterback and you're in a 40-0 deficit, you want to try and protect your health as much as possible. And look at this. He's under center now.
Yep. Hand off there, a little reverse there, a little keeper. You know, it's funny, they don't even have Kaiser in. This is the first game that he's played.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
He hasn't even played. So, you know, for a kid getting in the first time, and he's played better than Domino.
Yeah.
Which,
well, I think what I liked from Kaiser is just the fact that he's a little bit more physical, and if he needs to take off and run it, he can at least pick up a couple yards. I mean, Tyler Domino is just not a very big guy.
3rd and 5 in the 36. Back to pass. Quick drop step out of the 35-40. First down, and that's going to be Maurice Brown out of Vanden High School, the freshman, with a first down and a nice pickup there. So, listen, you just said it. We just mentioned it. Kaiser is at least moving the football.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the quick strikes they're calling. And again, that's the only way you're really able to beat and have any kind of success against a good pass rush is quick, short passes. And that time, that was one of the bigger offensive plays of the afternoon for Sac.
Let's see what the front seven can do here. Back to handoff. Straight up the middle goes Mullen. Yeah. Mullen goes straight up and gets a couple on the play.
And
but there's a flag down, 2 flags down.
I think we may see a personal foul, Mike.
You nailed it, Aaron.
And it looks like I saw a little bit of shoving from Ronald Harge for the Rams from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He was kind of getting into it with the Panthers. I didn't see a whole lot. I mean, maybe they just don't want anything to get out of hand in a blowout. You win. Emotions can run high.
You want to keep those tempers under control.
And it's going to be a personal foul on the Rams, so that'll be 15 yards. And that's been the only real knock, I think, has been the penalties in this game for City College. We saw a whole lot of penalties to start this game, and just kind of a sloppy start for the Rams. And I think if you're Coach Collins, as we kind of ramp up, getting towards that tough conference play, that's certainly something you're going to want to address with your team is say, hey, no matter what our opponent is, we cannot shoot ourselves in the foot and give them free yards, especially when we have this game very well in control right now.
No question about it. So that brings up the ball placed on the 48-yard line.
You know what? That actually might have been offsetting penalties, Mike, because I don't see them giving the automatic first down. So that may have been what happened.
So ball still the 48, 2nd and 8. Back to pass, quick little screen there, and it's caught for a gain of about maybe 4. That's Robert Harrison, the receiver out of Fairfield up near Sacramento. A sophomore, 6'1", good size. Picks up a gain there.
That was tough because Harrison had Isaiah Mays all over him.
And he's well short of the first down, so it's 3rd and 4. So again, another passing situation for Kaiser. Mullen in the backfield, back to pack. Kaiser looks right, throws the looping ball intended for the receiver, and it looked like that was number 3 for Sacramento City College. That would have been Robert Harrison, and he simply just did not connect them, but he had a slight bit of separation.
He got a little bit tangled up, and it was not in a penalty type of way, but he got a little bit tangled up with his defender, and it looks like it was Jaquari Godfrey from Bishop O'Dowd in Oakland, the sophomore, was on him one-on-one. So good job by Godfrey to not let him get the extra step. And really, that's one of the few passes I've seen go to the outside like that. And really, we haven't seen Sac with much time to test City College long here.
Alex Weir will punt at the 36-yard line.
Rams bringing pressure, and now they back off.
Low snap, wobbly kick. It's going to take a bounce at the 15, and it is down. And that's where the Rams will take over. But, again, same old story. And unfortunately, I think that's going to be the underlying theme for Sacramento City College. Now, what are the Rams going to do? They're going to continue to play ball control. And why wouldn't they? Would you not agree with that, Aaron?
I mean, if you're City College right now, I think what's important is just trying to control the game clock, use up as much clock as you can, kind of milk it, and really just not worrying about having to add too much offensively, just trying to play mistake-free football the rest of this game.
Shotgun formation or handoff, straight up across the right side. Again, maybe 2 on the play. The ball carrier for City College, of course, was Anthony Hurd, the running pick out of Sacred Heart here in San Francisco, the local talent.
He's really been the featured back today. We
Yeah.
saw him start this game, and he's gotten the majority of the carries this afternoon. And it's funny because he's the smallest running back on this roster, but he's been the featured back against an inferior Sacramento defense.
Trips right for the Rams. Cruz, plenty of time, goes across the middle, had nobody straight across at about the 30-yard line, and defense for Sacramento did a decent job trying to get some pursuit. The offensive line did a pretty good job, but really nobody was open.
No, and actually give some credit these first couple possessions of the second half to Sacramento's defense. They've done a good job jamming the receivers, and I think that may have been something they talked about. They got burned a couple times in that second quarter especially, and so the way you stop that is you jam the receivers at the line of scrimmage before that 5 yards so that they have less of a chance to get open down the field.
3rd and 6 from the 19 now. 3 wide receivers right to left. Back to pass. Cruz in trouble. Is being chased. He's going to go down. Ooh. Finally, the Sacramento City College gets a big defensive stop, particularly by number 43. That would be Angel Novi, the linebacker out of Grant High School, a powerhouse in Sacramento as far as football is concerned. And that's probably been the best defensive stance for the Panthers all day long.
Defense is impressing me right now. And if you're Christian Cruz, though, you got to kind of throw that ball away. He had a window where he could have just let it go, throw it to the sideline, and avoid the intentional grounding. I think he was just trying to make something happen and keep his eyes downfield, which is what you're taught to do. But backed up, you just got to get rid of the ball because now it's 4th and 21, and the punter kicking from the back of his own end zone.
Travis Benham from his end zone. A whistle, flag down.
Ooh, this may be, if this is on the Rams, that's going to really back them up.
Then they're already backed up as it is.
Yeah, I mean, that's tough. They didn't get the snap off. It's a delay of game, Mike. Wow.
So that puts them back like on the, let's see.
At this point, it's really only, moving back a yard or two because it's half the distance. But still, if you're Sac, you might try to dial up a little pressure here and try and maybe block this punt and get some momentum here in this third quarter.
No doubt about it. Benham will punt deep into the end zone. Gets a decent bounce off of the 35, rolls up to the 40, 45, gets a decent punt, about a 49-yard punt there with the roll.
Yeah, and well.
So that's a big break. I mean, it could have been trouble, but so that's where Sacramento will take over in Rams territory.
I think this may be the best starting field position in terms of minus the interception, of course, for Sacramento. So good effort by the defense. Now we're going to see if that inspires the offense to put something together here. And at the very least, I think if you're Sacramento, really, you feel good even just getting a touchdown here in this third quarter.
For sure. No doubt about it.
Even no matter what the final score is, you want to build something positive.
You want to get points.
And you want to build some confidence for your very young team. This is a very young team, a lot of freshmen, and this will be a good learning tool.
Kaiser hands off to Mullen, right side at the 50. Ooh. Gets upended in the air. I don't know what he was trying to do, but the defensive secondary came across and just hit him hard. I think he was trying to leap over one of the defenders.
And one of 3 or 4 Swedish players, Daniel Gunnarsson, from somewhere in Sweden. I cannot pronounce
I'll tell you what, we could definitely pronounce his last name. Yeah. His hometown, as they say.
Sunstock Gymnasiet. No, that's horrible. I'm not going to say that again.
But
Karlstad, Sweden is the name of his high school. I can pronounce
I'm going to say forget about it. All right, 2nd and 9 at the 49-yard line. Kaiser now over center. Looks like he may keep it himself now, man in motion. Play action. Back to pass, rolls, has a receiver, tight end at the 30-yard line, 25 out of bounds. And the intended receiver was number 87. That was the big tight end, Zach Marsh-Wojan. And you know what? That has been the biggest gain of the day for the Panthers. So a little momentum. You just said it, Aaron, beautifully. Yeah. They'll take it.
Yeah, and that's the biggest play from scrimmage for the Panthers offense today. And Marsh Wojan's a big guy. I mean, 6'5", 245 pounds. That's D1 size. And he also ran a pretty good route that time.
He did. Bit of a curling pattern there, and he caught the ball. Hand off the middle. Mullen stripped and ripped and brought down in the backfield. I believe he went down.
And, yeah, it looked like he may have just been able to stay on his feet.
Oh, interesting. Okay. And on the tackle for the Rams was number 27. That was Gunnarsson.
Yeah, and Frederick Tompkins, the linebacker, was the guy who made initial contact in the backfield, and apparently he was just able to stay on his feet, was the running back.
Yeah, he looked like he was down, but
Yeah.
we don't have instant replay, so
Yeah.
nevertheless, Mullen the lone back, three wide receivers right. Mullen now comes up with the quarterback. Kaiser, keeper, rolls left, out of bounds, across the 15-yard line, and gets out of bounds.
Still short of the first down, I believe, Mike. Maybe a yard or two short.
Yeah. But, when you compare Kaiser to Domino, the offense, even though they haven't scored a point, it's run a little bit more efficient. Is that a fair analysis?
I think so. I think the fact that Kaiser has about 3 inches and about 35 pounds on Domino is a little different too, because you can run those quarterback keeper plays. Domino seems like to be more of a pure pocket passer. We're also seeing Kaiser go from the pistol a little bit more, but yeah, a little more confidence in offense right now.
Handoff up to Mullen, picks up the first down. It looks like it. Looks like he might have just got there.
I think he may have just picked it up, and he did. They're signaling for the chains to move.
All right.
Mullen, not a bad size either, at 5'10", 195 pounds. He's from Salem, Oregon, is Noah Mullen.
Not too far from Eugene, so maybe he'll be a Duck someday, or a Beaver. You never know.
I'm sure
or
he grew
who
up,
knows?
Yeah, I'm sure he grew up rooting for one of those two teams.
Crowd here at George Rush Stadium making some noise. Handoff again to Mullen, right side. This time the defensive pursuit gets right into Mullen's grill.
He was just swarmed that time.
Bring him down. Number 56 for City College. It looks like Kahahualeo. Yeah, I love handling that name. Thank you.
We can just call him Dino.
I'm going to work on that all week, man.
Dino
DK.
Yeah, and he's been active today.
He has been.
He may have double-digit tackles by the time this game is over.
So the ball is going to be placed on the 15-yard line. That brings up a 2nd and 13 as the clock winding down here in the third quarter on a gorgeous Saturday afternoon in the city by the bay. Kaiser. Movement, flags down. Looks like this could be false start.
Yeah, it may be. They signal the play dead, which usually means that it's on the offense. Yep, it will
false
be.
Start. The official for today. We're not giving the names of the officials, so we don't know. We'll just have to call him the official. That's what he is, the official. The referee, I should say.
They've been busy today. They've thrown a lot of flags this afternoon.
Ball in the 20, 2nd and 18. Flags again down, overthrown, intended receiver out on the far left side, number 83 for Sacramento. That was Jojo Espinosa, and it looks like it could be against Sacramento again.
Yeah, no, I think it's offsides.
Okay, that's a break.
Yeah. So that'll make it 2nd and 13, I believe?
Yes, 2nd and 13. The ball marched out from the 20. Should be placed on the, they have not moved the ball yet, down to the 15-yard line.
Well, can the Rams continue to pitch a shutout here, or will the Panthers get their first points of 2019?
Kaiser has 3 wide receivers to the left now. 1 lone back, that's Mullen. Kaiser barking out signals, gets some signals from his coach. Fumbles the ball, picks it up, and gets it at the 27-yard line. Again, a center quarterback exchange mishap.
Yeah, and Dino was all over at that time. And really, if you're the Panthers, you're just fortunate that there wasn't a fumble recovery there. But, yeah, Kaiser just had to fall right on top of that and then took a big hit at the end, too. Tough break because they were nearing the red zone, and we also have flags on the field, and I'm not sure when it was thrown, so we'll have to assess the penalty.
Let's see who it is against. A Along with Aaron Turner, I'm Mike McDowd from a beautiful George Rush Stadium on the campus of City College in San Francisco. Thrilled to bring this broadcast here on Rams TV to millions across the world.
Streaming worldwide.
I want to thank all of our crew for who's diligently working hard today, helping us out. I want to thank Aaron Turner for allowing me to join him on the broadcast. And so far, it's been fun, and it's I think the way the Rams are playing, it could be a fun season.
Yeah, and right now I'm really encouraged by what I've seen from both the linebackers and the defensive line from the Rams, and the fact that they're able to generate a pass rush without bringing a whole lot of defenders. And we're seeing a lot of times only 3 or 4 defensive linemen, and they're still getting pressure on the quarterbacks. That's certainly a good sign. That's something you always want to do. And we talked about last week's victory that was a 30-point lead for the Rams. It ended up being just an 8-point victory after they lost their starting quarterback. And a personal foul on the Panthers.
So a personal foul.
And someone's been ejected.
Oh, my.
Wow.
Who's
So
been
maybe
ejected?
tempers flaring a little bit perhaps, and that moves the ball way back to the 40-yard line.
Yeah, that's a huge killer.
Yeah.
Listen, now it's going to be 3rd and
5 miles.
yeah, a long 3rd and 37.
Yeah.
So, Kaiser is in a tough situation. Actually, looks like we have a new quarterback there. It looks like Tyler Domino back in.
Yeah, you're right. Good eye
Domino
there.
comes back in, timeout on the field, Sacramento City College. So
Well, that's a tough break there because they were knocking on the door. They were within the original line of scrimmage before all these penalties was at the 14-yard line, 13-yard line,
Yes.
and they've marched back 27 yards now. Man, that's tough.
Aaron, let me ask you a quick question. Why would you bring Domino back in? Because he didn't really move the offense. Kaiser at least had a little juice going.
Yeah.
And I think the key word is juice. They had some energy flowing.
They may have been trying to run a wrinkle play, maybe knowing the fact that they're at 3rd and 37. They may have just been trying to hand it off. And who knows? Maybe Kaiser's banged up. I'm not sure. We'll see once they break the huddle who returns under center. But yeah, and that's something to note, by the way. I was watching pregame warmups, and the kicker for this Panthers team, number 35, Sox Lee, does not have a whole lot of range in terms of how far he's able to kick. So this could regardless be kind of a 2-down kind of thing. But it looks like Domino's back in there, Mike.
Yeah, Domino is back. Maybe Domino's got a better arm.
That could be.
And that's the only thing I can think that makes sense. Domino back to pass.
Another flag.
Flag's down
Oh,
again. That's
man.
going to be false start. It's got to be. So that'll bring it back to, let's see, 42. So 3rd and 42.
Yeah.
Folks, we got ourselves a passing situation.
Yeah, and the ball's now all the way back to the 45-yard line.
Now, here's what's a little bit, I don't know, I don't want to call it critical, but you certainly don't want Domino to throw. He's got to go long.
Yeah.
You don't want him to throw an interception. So Domino is in the shotgun at the 50, back to pass, near the 45, steps up, looks long, in trouble, keeps it himself down to the 45-yard line where he's sacked, and the Rams do a great job shutting everything down. The Panther defense is going to come back onto the field as the Panthers will have to punt the ball.
And Kaho Kulelio, again in on the tackle. He's probably going to lead this team in tackles by the time this game is done, and he just basically shut down any chance of the quarterback, Domino, trying to pick up any extra yardage on that one.
Weir will punt at the 41, and with Oliver Saunders at the 10-yard line. It's a bit of a low punt, fair catch at the 15-yard line. So the Rams will take over with about 41 seconds left in the third quarter, and it has been a dominant performance by the, do we say Rams Nation? What, do we have anything going on like that here at City College?
I don't know if it's Rams Nation.
Or Rams Empire?
Rams, yeah. I mean, they are 10-time national champions.
I mean, we do kind of, you think of the 49ers, 49er Empire. So
right.
we say maybe Rams Empire. Or what? Can we coin something up, or can we make it up?
What's a herd of rams called in nature?
Oh yeah, we're gonna have to come. I'm gonna have to look at the farm and figure out where that's all coming from. And also have to be careful that I don't offend anybody
right.
as well. Handoff up the middle. Nothing on the mid, nothing just up to the line of scrimmage, maybe. Surged by that offensive line. And the ball carrier for City College was number 16, of course, the kid Jamar Julian. And Julian has also had many carries today.
Yeah, he quiet day for him after over 100 yards last week in Rockland against Sierra. So obviously Jimmy Collins, he feels comfortable using all three of his backs, and we're seeing that this game.
Well, the third quarter is going to expire, and they're going to, they get the playoff. Handoff right side, 25-30, 35-40, 45-50, cross midfield, a flag down.
Yeah, maybe
and a big pickup there, and a fantastic run.
That's too bad, because that was the biggest run of the game by any Rams running back on a single play, and that was Julian, who I just mentioned has been quiet today, and it may be coming back on a hold. And the way the Rams are walking back, it may be a hold. That's too bad, because Julian had a really good patience that time in that run, and the way he exploded into the backfield, or out of the backfield rather, was very impressive.
Yeah, that was a big run for about 35 yards on the cane, and the biggest offensive run we've seen all day long. But the quarter expires. We'll head to the fourth. Want to keep it here? What do you want to do? All right, we'll keep it here as we have our score from George Rush Stadium on the campus of City College.
Well, I know that. Sorry, Mike. I was going to say, I know that, certainly when you're up 40-0, your play calling is going to get a little conservative. But right now, we're seeing a shutout from this Panthers defense in the third quarter. That's kind of that's a victory, if anything.
Yeah, you do have to look at it. I think that's one way of looking at it for sure. And the funny thing is, I think it's a little bit concerning because the Rams offense hasn't done anything in a quarter of football. Much like last week against Sierra, even though the Panthers haven't been able to score, there's a bit of a, maybe it's a stretch, but a bit of analogy maybe.
Yeah, sure, and that's something you're going to want to address is kind of sustaining your offensive production for all four quarters for the Rams going forward.
Cruz in the shotgun at the 30-yard line. Good snap. Back to pass. Looks straight across the field. Has a receiver. Overthrows him at the 30, and that was the intended receiver. Looks like that was Christian Willis. And, he had some – he was on the run. It was a deep ball down the right side, but just
yeah, he was one-on-one with Uriah Ports, and he beat him – and he was a couple steps ahead of him, and that ball just overthrown, but still a very nice day today for Christian Willis.
No question. Did we get any of those first half stats? I don't know. Did we get that? We didn't get that. Okay. And
that was actually the technical final play of the third quarter. So they because of the dead ball, they basically had an untimed down that throw. So now the teams will officially switch field direction.
Well, it's a sea of red here. Of course, City College in their, let's just say bright red, beautiful red uniforms with the white numbers. Meanwhile, Sacramento traveling with their road all-white jerseys with the maroon lettering, maroon helmets. Panthers, we talked about Sacramento City College. They play at Hughes Stadium up in the capital city. It is by far the most beautiful stadium in the entire state of California. It was renovated years ago, but it is a gorgeous venue for college football. Back to pass. Cruz right side, batted down, and a good job by number 8, Tyrone Roper, Andrew Roca, the defensive lineman, 6'3" out of Galt, California.
Yeah, he just got his hands up, and that's what you're taught to do as a defensive lineman is in a passing situation, get your hands up, try to deflect that pass. So right now we're seeing a very spirited effort from this Panthers defense. I've been very impressed.
And as Aaron said, they have, boasted a shutout here.
Yeah.
Which is kind of another subject, but back to pass, kind of a tough snap. And a low-thrown ball. The intended receiver was number 86 for City College, but it was Nick Anderson, and it was a ball thrown below his knees.
Yeah.
First of all, it was a bad exchange.
And a little bit of a good pass rush, too.
Yes.
And yeah, he had actually 2 receivers open. He had Dalen DeGraffenried, if I'm pronouncing that right. He was open, but he just underthrew it with that pressure in his face. And now a punt coming up. So, again, another 3 and out by the Rams offense.
Trevor Marshall will be the receiver at the 20-yard line. Punting for San Francisco City College will be number 89, I believe. David Ray's high punt at the 20-yard line. Fair catch. And so the Panthers will try to take it 80 yards, and that's where they'll take the ball over. But, you know, Aaron, I guess I like the way you said it. If you look at some type of, and I hate to say this in football or any sport, moral victory.
Yeah.
I mean, the Panthers can at least feel good that they haven't been scored on by the City College game. The flip side of it is Jimmy Collins is not happy with, you know, they want to score.
Yeah, and at the very least, sustain some drives here and
exactly
and keep the ball out of the hands of the Panthers offense. But yeah, this is certainly something to look at on tape going forward to see how you were able to slow down the offense in the third quarter.
Kaiser back in the game now. He'll stand at the 15-yard line. He's got Mold in the backfield. Or handoff. Actually, it's number 22, Jared Knipe, I believe, if I can make that out.
And he had nowhere to go that time. He may have even lost a yard or two. Yeah, 2nd and 11, so he did lose 1 yard.
Now that front seven's really trying to get some penetration there. You look at the Panthers' offensive line, some pretty big kids, but you know, listen, it's been a tough afternoon.
Yeah, and it's tough because you have a lot of size up front in that defensive front, so it's tough to get around them.
So Knipe goes in motion. Oh, this almost picked off. It is picked off at the 20-yard line, and Kaiser threw it right into the hands of number 25, Frederick Tompkins, a linebacker out of near Fresno, California, Clovis West. And, boy, now this is where the Rams take over.
Yeah.
They put 6 on the board, and they should because they're in great field position.
Oh, they're going to say that he dropped it.
What?
I don't think. Yeah. It looked
wow.
like it was for sure an interception. I think it may have just hit the ground. That's a
bad
bad break
for
City College.
You know what that's called? That's called a break for
absolutely
the Panthers, and Kaiser comes back onto the field.
That was thrown right at Tompkins. I mean, he could have even ran it back.
So 3rd and 11, 3 wide receivers left for the Rams. Actually 2 plus the tight end, and then 1 right. Kaiser back to pass, in trouble, quickly dumps it off. That ball's now dumped up in the air. It's picked off and fumbled. Touchdown, Tofi, and the Rams.
Wow.
Not only did they get a break from last time, but now they create another break. It was a difficult ball, tipped up in the air. Tofi grabs it and marches into the end zone 20 yards.
And yeah, it was just almost like a little screen pass. He was Kaiser was under a whole lot of pressure just trying to dump the ball off to his running back and maybe pick up a yard or two. It was popped out of the back's hands, and then Tofi just right place, right time, and he took it all the way back. So after nearly getting an interception, the very next play, it's a pick 6.
Second defensive touchdown of the day with the block punt. The PAT is good. So that now makes it City College of San Francisco 47, Sac City nothing. And, you know, Aaron, finally, although, I'm not trying to be critical or anything like that, you want the offense to score.
Yeah.
I mean, points are points. We get that. We understand. But if you're Jimmy Collins, you're looking at this game, okay, first half we're up 40-0. Second half, I mean, kudos to the defense. It's awesome. But you still want to get that offensive rhythm going, and it's got to be still a concern. I would say before the game is done, the offense wants to score.
Yeah, and you like to at least see the offense move the ball a bit and pick up some consecutive first downs and really just try and do what they did so well in that first half, which was mix up their run and their pass. And it's probably partially due to the fact that they're up so big and you don't want to get too too crazy with the play calling, but give the Panthers defense in the second half some credit. They've done a pretty good job slowing this offense down for the Rams and preventing any big plays.
Well, the wind taking the tee off. A little bit of a breeze going on here.
Yeah.
About 15 miles per hour, and maybe it's picked up just a bit. It is a spectacular day here in the city by the bay.
There was some fog early on in this game, but that really has burned off, and it's been a beautiful afternoon since.
71 degrees. Nice booming kick into right at the end zone. And it's fumbled. That's trouble. The ball's still loose. Do the Rams come up with it? No. It's fielded at about the 5-yard line. Looks like that was Noah Mullen on the kickoff return, and he simply just lost it.
Yeah, he may have had some sun or wind in his face, and his heart may have skipped a beat or two there, and that's the last thing you want to do is fumble the ball inside your own 10-yard line. But fortunately for Mullen, he was able to fall on it and prevent another disastrous turnover.
So the ball will be placed on the 6-yard line, and that's where I wanted to call them the Galloping Panthers or something. I don't know. But somehow, some way, they've got to take the ball nearly 95, 94 yards to see some pay dirt here. Handoff up the middle. Nice move, a little bit of surge from that offensive line down to the 10-yard line. And the ball carrier was number 8 actually, Tyrone Roper. And so that brings up a 2nd and, let's see if they're going to place that ball. Well, 2nd and 5. So he picks up 5. Ball on the 11-yard line. 3 wide receivers left. Roper again. Gets maybe 1 across the line. Bit of a delay, looking for a bit of a draw play or something, but there was confusion. And, of course, the defensive front did a nice job getting all over the ball carrier.
Well, last week against American River College, despite the fact that they got shut out, Sac City was able to gain 104 yards on the ground, so that's one thing they did do fairly well last week. Of course, only 127 yards through the air is not a very good recipe for success.
Tyrone Roper, the lone back, trips left now for Sacramento. Kaiser, backpack, looks left, has a receiver at the 15. The cross, it looks like that was Corey Abrams, the kid out of Fairfield, Vanden High School, 5'10". But clock rolls with 12:20 remaining in the ball game on the 19-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Panthers. Kaiser trips right, keeps it himself, gets stopped. Somehow gets across the 20 to the 22, almost the 23-yard line. A little bit of a pickup there, momentum. And again, all you can really ask for from the Panthers is to take it down the field and score. I'm telling you, that's a big deal right now for this team.
Yeah, and that time Kaiser had Avery Burt all over him, just hounding him. Burt, the 6'3", 245 freshman from Berkeley High. And but you see, Kaiser's kind of tough to tackle. He's a big guy.
Kaiser barking out signals in the shotgun from the 19. Back to pass, two drop step. As a man at the 30, it's a tight end. It looks like the big tight end. We've called his name Wojan, and he picks up a gain of a few. And again, momentum, and that is going to be a 1st down for the Panthers.
Wojan's the biggest guy in terms of height on this roster for the Panthers, so you see why he's such a friendly target.
Kaiser again has one lone back. Barks now in motion a little bit. A little bit of a fake. A quarterback keeper himself in trouble. Kaiser scrambles, still tries to make something happen. Gets barely to the line of scrimmage, about the 30-yard line. He may have lost a yard on that play.
Yeah, he lost a yard or two. And Kaiser, I mean, he's a big guy. You see he can carry the ball a little bit, but he's got to be a little more careful with the way he was running with that ball. He had that ball out a little bit away from his body. You got to tuck that in tighter, knowing how hard these linebackers hit, especially.
Yeah, and, I wasn't the greatest play call in the world. It's like, okay, let's keep the ball. You need to get down the field. Yeah. This time Kaiser rolls right, throws the right of the 30. Looks like that's Corey Abrams. Abrams still on his feet across the 31, 32-yard line maybe, but a little bit of a gain.
Yeah, it's mostly been the underneath passes that has been the only thing opening up offensively for the Panthers. And those, while they may look nice in terms of a completion percentage, those aren't going to really get you a whole lot of chunk yards and aren't going to really get you down the field like you want.
I cannot recall one deep ball pass for the Panthers today.
Nothing that was caught, at least.
So Sac City 39 in the 32-yard line. 2 wide receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Thought we saw blitz flags being drawn.
Offsides.
Nice cross across the middle. Here's an opportunity for a touchdown. Sacramento City, if he got with a big gain there, but there's a flag down, and that's number 3. That was Robert Harrison out of Fairfield, the wide receiver. That's the biggest game of the play, and Harrison just went straight across the middle. He was open, beat that secondary, and had a huge gain. And that is that could be our Sac City play of the game.
And it was offsides on the defense, so a free play essentially for Sacramento. And yeah, Harrison showed off his speed that time. Biggest play offensively from scrimmage for either team, I believe.
So a huge gain of about what was that? About 50.
Yeah, at least
55 on the play, and that was a brilliant Harrison. Harrison had the end zone. I want to call that the checkerboard out there. Do we call that the checkerboard?
Yeah, it's like the old school diamond pattern.
Yeah, I look at that, the diamond pattern. Let's go with that. It's not quite the Tennessee checkerboard.
No.
Handoff up the middle, gain of about 1 on the play. Rams all over him. In particular on that tackle was number 99 for City College, and that's Amon.
Right now, again,
Sacramento.
I beg your pardon. Sacramento still trying to score their first points of the season.
And again, I think you got to take away some positives. A, you can score, and B, you held the Rams to only 7 points.
Yeah.
So back to pass Kaiser. Kaiser looking for the end zone. Has a receiver. Oh, thrown in right. It looks like that was Jacob Williams, and he had it in his hands, but it was well defended near the right front of the end zone.
Yeah, Kenyon McTeer was one-on-one with him, and he disrupted the pass enough that Williams was unable to bring it down.
So 39 on the 9-yard line, goal to go, timeout with 9:04 remaining. We'll keep it right here. You know, if you talk about Jimmy Collins and his Rams, I think we've kind of touched on it so many times. There's so many positives to take away from this game, but yet there's a lot of learning and growing to do.
Yeah, and you mentioned the fact that the Panthers have only given up 7 points this second half. That's really on the offense. That's not on the defense. So I think if the learning really comes from, like I said before, sustaining your offensive success and not letting your opponent make too many adjustments, and whether that's maybe switching up your play calling, having a second half, play list of plays in your back pocket that you didn't display the first half. But yeah, you like to see a little more consistency from your offense, even though it's a blowout. Looking like it's going to be a blowout victory right now, that's certainly something that you don't want to get into later in the year when your opponents get tougher.
I mean, the defense today for the Rams, 2 defensive touchdowns, a block and the interception.
Yeah.
So
plus a fumble recovery
and also the
rush.
Safety.
Yeah, the safety.
So
yeah, exactly.
That's 2 points. 39, Kaiser back to pass from the 15. 3-drop step, has a receiver. It's well defended, and the intended receiver, it looks like that was number 3, and I believe that was Robert Harrison. It was, and the Rams secondary did a good job. Yeah. Two defenders on him, and as a result, so here's my question to you, Aaron.
Yeah.
Do you is 3 points really a big deal?
Well,
at this point,
seeing how limited they are in the kicking game, you might as well go for it. And it looks like the Panthers are going to go for it. And that last play, a good job by Falasa Aitu Tofi to get his hands on it and prevent a touchdown. But now it's 4th and 9.
So Kaiser now on the 9, standing from the 15-yard line. Back to pass again. Quickly throws it across. Has a receiver, but flags down. Yeah. That would have been 6. He was going for his tight end who caught the ball in the end zone. But guess what? false start. So that brings it back 5 yards. It'll be 4th and 14.
That's a killer. That was Marsh Wojan.
And he was wide open, man.
Yeah, wide open. Beautiful play call, actually, that time. They kind of schemed Wojan open. He's tough to handle at 6'5", 245 pounds, but killers. Penalties are killers, and that just took away their first chances at points this season.
And it looked like it was. It didn't look like there was a breakdown in the secondary or anything like that. It was just a good call. And you know what? You got to use a body like that when you're that size. Wojin, I mean, I love tight ends in football. I'm a big tight end guy. You go all the way back to the day with Brent Jones and Dwight Clark and all these great, the Raiders. I mean, so many great tight ends. Well, timeout with 8:57 left in the ball game. 47-0 our score. Along with Aaron Turner, I'm Mike McDowd. We're so thrilled to bring you this broadcast here on Rams TV. And, you know, it's a lot of fun. And it's fun for us to bring this game to you. Call the exciting drama and excitement of college football. And if you've never come out to this stadium, come on out. Plenty of tickets available. This is exciting, great, high-level junior college football. And I'll tell you what, on a Saturday, September afternoon, nothing beats this right now.
It's interesting, too, Mike. I'm seeing both Ethan Bullock, who got injured last week, and he was the starting quarterback. He was the QB1 in this roster. He's warming up down on the sidelines, along with Michael Milstead from Stratford High School, where Andrew Luck played his high school ball in Houston, Texas. He's also warming up. He's listed as both a quarterback and a punter, so it'll be interesting to see if maybe they're just doing it just to stay in shape, or if maybe for this final 9 minutes we're going to see a third-string quarterback or second string with the injury come in to finish this one for the Rams.
So 4th and 14 from the 14. Kaiser has 3 receivers to the left. Back to pass. In trouble. Rolls. Trying to make something happen. He's sacked. That'll do it. That'll do it.
Wow.
And that is not a way to end things.
Burt just blew up that play, and the pass rush has been so effective all game. They haven't gotten a whole lot of sacks, but they've certainly forced the ball to be out of the hands early for the Panthers, and Avery Burt just buried the quarterback that time. That's pretty much an exclamation mark on this game.
Well, let's run some quick college football scores around the country. Right now, the Cardinal having an extremely tough time down at Central Florida, 45-17 in the fourth quarter. See that Alabama over South Carolina in the fourth, 40-16. Oh, look at this one. In the fourth, I know my good buddy Steve Travers in USC only up by 4 against BYU.
As a Stanford fan, that's tough to see.
Oh, great handoff up the middle. And I believe that was
DeMonte Alim.
Yes, Alini. And we still have, looks like we still have at quarterback, it'll be Jacob Cruz remains in there. But as Aaron said, some guys warming up on the sidelines there. Stanford having a tough time with a big loss last week to USC, and now to Central Florida. High snap, handoff up the middle, bit of surge off the right side for a gain of just a couple. Yeah, that's trouble for Stanford. That's a big-time browbeating.
Yeah, I mean, Stanford, of course, losing their quarterback, Costello, and that was a big blow. But Pac-12...
Please don't get me started.
Yeah,
please.
Pac-12 struggling this year, to say the least.
Pac-12 struggled last year.
Yeah.
Pac-12 struggled the year before.
And we may see some of these Rams players on Pac-12 teams next season, by the way. A lot of Pac-12 teams love scouting these CCSF players.
There's the handoff. Right side brought down by a host of Panthers. In fact, the starting quarterback for Washington State was the offensive player of the game the first season. I believe he had 5 touchdowns his first game against New Mexico State.
Yeah.
And he was the Pac-12 offensive player of the year, of the week.
And in going back, I mean, you talk about players like Jeremiah Mazzoli, of course, former Rams quarterback, dual threat quarterback, who had a lot of success at Oregon. We see teams like Washington State, Oregon State, Arizona State, they've all recruited heavily from the JUCO level, especially here.
Hand up this time at the middle. Breaks to the right side across the 35 is big number 29, and that is DeMonte Alim out of Doherty Valley in San Ramon. We've called his name once or twice before, but he's getting some time here for sure.
Yeah, he's been basically the de facto backup with number 24, Anthony Hurd, getting the majority of the snaps this game. So we see kind of a three-headed monster at running back for the Rams. They can go with three guys and have pretty good success. That was a 5-yard gain.
Another handoff. 30, 35, 40, 45, near midfield, and absolutely wrestled down by number 7. That would be Uriah Ports, the defensive back. And he was like hog-tied.
Yeah, it was close to a horse collar tackle,
It really was.
I think it was a clean tackle, but yeah, it was Alim trying to stay in bounds, and he was just slammed down to the ground, but he did pick up the first down that time.
One of their college football score, the Fighting Irish 66, New Mexico 14, Ohio State 51-10 over Indiana. Another handoff across midfield down to the 45. Still on his feet. A brilliant job by Oliver Sanders and it looks like I thought I saw a flag down, but it wasn't, because 26 is wearing bright yellow shoes. And I'm thinking, wait a second, yet another flag?
There's been a lot of those, but that was a nice run by Saunders, his first touch of the ball game. He's the smallest running back on this roster at 5'9", 175 pounds. Went to Jesse Bethel High School in Vallejo, California.
Gain of about 12 on the play. First down on the 38-yard line now, 1st and 10, with 5:25 remaining in the ball game. Quick pass to the left flat, across the 35, down to the 30, and well caught. That is number 86 for City College, which of course is Elijah Bell.
Oh, I beg your pardon. That's I was pointing in the wrong roster. Sorry about that. That was number 86. When I look at my roster, as we're starting to see some reserves get into this game now.
DeGranfeld?
Yeah.
DeGraffenried. New name. So DeGraffenried, the kid out of Bakersfield. We could talk about Bakersfield in a second. I have a little bit of knowledge there.
The Rams starting to empty their bench here, up big.
Hand off now to number 28, Oliver Saunders. Again across the right side for just a few. 3rd down, and they're going to mark it at the 32-yard line. 3rd and 4. So not much of a gain there at all.
We see Cruz getting the play call from Jimmy Collins, and we're finally starting to see the Rams offense in the second half sustain a drive. We really haven't seen a whole lot of offensive success.
And you know Coach Collins wants to see that. So 2 wide receivers left and 2 to the right. Jacob Cruz has a man in motion now. Cruz rolls out right, looks downfield, has plenty of time, throws deep. The intended receiver at about the 12-yard line, or about the 12-yard line. It looked like for the Rams that was number 88, and that of course is a kid I haven't called much today either. That is Ezra Grace, wide receiver out of Honolulu, Hawaii.
Well, right now, it looks like we may see a 4th down attempt. So Jimmy Collins deciding to go for it on 4th and 4.
And why not?
Sure.
So 4th and 4 on the 32-yard line. Garcia has 3 receivers out left and 1 to the right. Maybe he's going to try to draw. Nope, he's back to pass. Quick little screen at the 30, 35, 20. Flag down to the 10, across the 10-yard line, and into deep Panthers territory.
That was Grace again, 2nd consecutive catch. Maybe a holding call, though. This may be coming back.
Looks like. Was it going to be false start or holding?
Yeah, it may be holding.
It is hold. Yeah.
Yeah, that's too bad. That was a nice running catch from Ezra Grace.
Yes. Jimmy Collins out on the field talking to his club, saying, hey, settle down. And the question is, do they stay on the field? Looks like he is. I don't see the punting unit on there.
Yeah, I mean, the ball's at the 35-yard line, so you figure if you don't convert here, at the very least, it's not like you're giving up field position. The Panthers would take over at their own 35.
So, ball on the 35 says 4th and 4. It's longer than that, though. Garcia rolls right in, gets in trouble, breaks a defensive hold, throws it out of bounds, and so that's a stop for Sacramento. They take over on the 35-yard line there. And
This defense
again,
is still pitching a shutout.
Yeah, again. Okay, so
moral victories.
I would be curious to talk to the coach, Collins, after this game.
Yeah.
Of course, he's got to feel good about the victory, and they played very exceptionally well the first half. But yet, there has to be a little bit of concern. The fact is, have they scored in the second half of the last game? City College against Sayre, did they score points in the second half?
I think they only scored maybe like 9 points. So
Okay,
I think they were limited to one score, which is kind of what we see here.
Yeah, so that's got to be a concern as they move forward. But the good news, they are going to move forward with 2 wins on the season.
Yeah. And one thing that Jimmy Collins talked about is improving week to week. And you do see improvement from last week to this week, of course. And he admitted that there are a lot of untested players, as he used in his words. And so this is a good learning experience.
No question about it.
That's a nice
There's
run and catch. Wow.
Run and catch there out to the left side. And that was Gonzalez. Gonzalez out of Fairfield. Looks like that's Keon Gonzalez. First time I've called his name today.
And they'll have a running clock here, of course.
So 2nd and 3 on the 42-yard line. As Aaron mentioned, the clock's going to just keep ticking down, and the Rams are going to try to go into the locker room with a victory. Hand off, maybe a couple across the middle.
Avery Burt, nice tackle that time. He's been active today. I think for me, the game ball is going to really go to this entire defense for the Rams, especially that defensive front seven. They've really done a very good job. They've after getting 100 yards on the ground last week, Sacramento, I'm sure, has been held to much less than that today. And they've pitched a shutout all game. No points for Sacramento. It looks like this may be the second straight week, unless they can score here, but they haven't scored a point, so they'll be unscored here for the first 2 games of the season. False start there. I think they're going to get number 60.
Now the Rams go on the road up next. I believe it's
Santa Rosa.
Santa Rosa, JC?
I believe so.
Is it really? Okay.
I will
I
confirm
was
that
trying
momentarily.
to find the schedule on that one. I didn't see it in the what do we got? We got next. It's
I was mistaken. I'm sorry.
Modesto, JC. Now let me tell you, that's going to be an absolute dogfight. I'll tell you why. Last year, San Francisco City College played Modesto in the regular season, I believe. No problem. And then Modesto comes out to this stadium, George Rush Stadium, and beats City College in the bowl game for the first time, I think, since like the 50s.
Flag on the play. Wow.
There's a flag on the play, but it's caught at the 35-yard line. Great defensive tackle by the
That was
secondary.
the Swede, Gunnarsson.
Gunnarsson, yes. And it was caught by number 27. That is Jordan Green, the running back, 5'6", out of Roseville, California.
So can you say that, and that's going to be a night game, by the way. That'll be fun under the lights on a
Yes.
Saturday night. So can you call that a grudge match, I guess? That is the definition of a grudge match, right?
Listen, I guarantee you the City College Rams have not forgotten that game because, again, I don't think Modesto had beaten City College. I think I read it was the late 50s or 60s.
Wow.
No, I'm not kidding you.
Yeah, no, I believe
Which
it.
is like unbelievable. So that was a huge win for that Modesto program.
And I'm sure
A
that
signature win.
And you know, it happens at every level, and you want to prevent football teams from looking ahead in the schedule. But I'm sure that's one that very early on they've been game planning for all offseason for Week 3 against Modesto, and then it doesn't get any easier. They have to travel, they host Butte College, a very good program at home. They have 2 straight home games following that, and then of course they go on the road after a second home game against College of the Siskiyou, and they'll head across the bridge to play Laney College on October 18th. City College.
Listen, Butte, of course, Aaron Rodgers,
Right.
his school. Butte is always tough. They're going to give City College a battle.
And that's a rivalry.
They could
Butte.
beat them, too.
Yeah.
And Siskiyous, by the way, City College traveled up to them, I think a year ago or two, and lost to them. And the Siskiyous is in the middle of literally nowhere.
That's in Redlands, California, which is the middle of nowhere.
So there's a punt that takes a bounce, 35-40. 45 trying to get near across the 45. That's Oliver Saunders, who took the ball with a $1:04 left in the game. But this game it's academic. It's been over since the halftime. Unfortunately, you try to take away the positives again, and we can save it for the end of the game. If you look at Sacramento, it's kind of what we talked about.
Right.
We'll save it for the end of the game just to kind of put things in synopsis form here. But I think the Rams have got to feel good about the way they played. A little bit some concerns.
Well, there's no injuries,
nope,
which is of course key. There's no major roster changing moves, and right now you're looking ahead, of course, to two tough matchups the next 2 weeks. And Jimmy Collins talked about wanting to improve week to week. Well, you have some mistakes you can look at on tape. They can clean up the turnovers. They can reduce the penalties. They can learn to play more consistent offensively, but it's still it's a convincing win here in week 2.
And I think Arcee's going to take a knee.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he's going to do. Play it safe. Cruz. Cruz is going to take the knee. The clock will wind down, and the Rams will go on to 2-0, and that's certainly exactly what their goal of the day was, to get a victory, and they're going to do that proudly and have a nice little Saturday night here in the city by the bay. And these kids, let's face it, they don't play for big bucks. They play for an education. They play for because for the love of the game.
Yeah.
So many will move on, and you know what? There's a lot of players who just play with heart and won't move on. But they love the game of football. They love this college. City College of San Francisco, a dominant force in junior college football across the nation. And they continue their winning ways. Jimmy Collins has got a very tough schedule the next 3 games, Modesto, Butte, and the Siskiyous. And then they play Laney.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't
come on.
get any easier.
The schedule's brutal.
Yeah, next 4 games will really define this season, but it was a convincing win in my books. I was really, really impressed with the defense, especially that front 7. Very good pass rush. They really didn't allow any kind of chunk yardage and chunk plays at all, and the one that they did allow was called back on a penalty. The one they did allow was basically the lone long pass play. So aside from that, and aside from some penalties, a very encouraging win as now we get towards the real meat of the schedule.
Right, and the final from George Rush Stadium on the campus of City College, the Rams 47, Sac City nothing. And one of the cool things about junior college football, both teams in the middle of the field, the 50-yard line, the sea of red, a sea of white. They're shaking hands. It's one of the coolest things I've seen in football. You don't see this done at the Division I level like this. It's very uniformed. They're in a straight line. They're really paying each other a lot of respect. And I think City College has got to have a little bit of respect for this Panthers team, only in the fact that they did not dominate them in the second half.
No, and give a lot of credit. If I'm the defensive coordinator for the Panthers, I'm talking to my defense and I'm saying, hey, you guys played with a lot of pride that second quarter, and that's very encouraging for a program that had a lot of success several decades ago. They're trying to kind of return to former glory. That's what we talked about being a moral victory, and you can hang your hat on some things that you did well if you're Sacramento coming in facing a vaunted program like City College of San Francisco, and they did some things well defensively, and like I said, I think there's a lot of things for both teams to look at and learn in terms of how to improve going forward next week. And obviously, Sacramento would have liked to at least score some points in this game, but City College handled their business. They did what they're supposed to do, beat inferior teams at home, and now it gets really tough the next 4 games. So certainly a lot of things that Jimmy Collins would like to see. For me, the biggest question mark is who will start at quarterback the next 4 games. I don't know if anybody has.
It's going to be a challenging season for the Panthers. Meanwhile, the City College of San Francisco Rams can hold their heads up high. The mighty Red Wave pulling it off here and really saying, you know what? We expect to play for another league title. We also expect to play for a state title, and we'd like another national championship. They haven't seen that in a while here,
Yeah.
and that's something that they, like I said, the expectations here at City College are incredible. It's like Alabama and Clemson.
Yeah.
Okay, if you don't get a state title or a national title, often, and I hate to say this,
Yeah.
it's not true though, but sometimes the bar is set so high here, that's a disappointment.
Yeah, and there's a giant white billboard here at George Rush Stadium that it lists every single national championship, the last one being in 2015, every single state championship, every single Northern California championship, and then every single conference championship. And so the players know what this is. This is just because this is junior college football. There's a lot of pride on this campus when it comes to the football program. George Rush, who the field is named after, I mean, he set the precedent about as high as you could set a precedent for a junior college football program. I'm most intrigued to see a couple weeks from now when City College goes into Laney, a team that's being profiled by Netflix for the docuseries Last Chance U. That'll be fun if they can go into Laney and kind of reestablish themselves as the Northern California Bay Area football power and pour a little cold water on a team that'll be getting a lot of national coverage once that season airs on Netflix.
Aaron, you mentioned that game, and it's important but you cannot look past the next three opponents. You've got
not at all.
Modesto, JC. It's going to be a dogfight. Butte and the Siskiyous are really two strong, powerful programs. Butte's won a state championship. Siskiyous always has. The Siskiyou, for some reason, always gets really solid players out of the state of Florida.
Yeah.
And for great receivers, great running backs. They are a tough team. So I got to tell you, this schedule is brutal for City College.
Well, it'll be fun to see how this season shakes out. City College will travel to Modesto, and they will take on Modesto Junior College and try to avenge their upset defeat here at home last season to close their season and try and move to 3-0. Mind if I take us the rest of the way? So it was a good game for City College. It was a slow start for both teams, but San Francisco really started to assert their dominance in that second quarter and carried that momentum, pitching a shutout here over the visiting Sacramento City Panthers, 47-0. So for our entire CCSF broadcasting crew, our executive producer, Misha Ancinich, and the rest of the crew here, wonderful job done. And don't forget, every Rams home game will be streaming live on Rams TV at ccsfathletics.com. So for Mike and the rest of the crew, and I'm Aaron Turner saying have a great afternoon, everyone. Thanks for watching. We will see you soon.